Okay. Hadi bakalım. Haydi. Just to confirm. He does.
We're going to very briefly interrupt your summer sports programming, ladies and gentlemen, for some special GSRC programming in the form of the next instalment of the annual Race of Champions. The best of the best as far as the GSRC is concerned. Our champions throughout the course of 4 terms of exciting racing across various different disciplines in 2024, all vying for the elusive title of the ROC within this club. Good evening, everybody. I'm Zach Cabot alongside Josh Zuno and Daniel Correa-Sarr. 3/4 of the Thursday night complement joining you on a Sunday night as we rock and roll into the last night of school for the season. Can you believe it? This is the 47th week of the year for us. We started on the 22nd of January. We end on the 15th of December after 4 10-week campaigns and of course 2 Australian Open World Nationals. Now, to put the cherry on top, it is the race of champions. I mentioned the cricket a moment ago. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not raining in Brisbane like it was yesterday, because I'm trying to watch the cricket and talk to you at the same time, folks. Australia 6 for 355, hundreds to Travis Head and Steve Smith this afternoon, going along beautifully. And I'll give you some progress scores as we edge closer to stumps at 10 to 7 Eastern Daylight Time. Josh Zuno, Daniel Correa-Sarr here alongside me. Gentlemen, we've got 5 minutes before we're going to turn wheels in anger with racing. No surprise to see the number 1 next to one of our former ROC champions, names in the form of Brenton Hobson. Josh, our good mate Nick Fodiatis has been integral in organising this once again. 3 disciplines to really test the versatility of some of the club's finest.
Yeah, no, very excited, guys. I'll have to get rid of that double upside back. But
I was going to say, how's the echo going on your end? You're in stereo. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I might turn the push-to-talk off for my mic, but yeah, no, Nick's put in some hard yards as well as Joe. Don't discount that old 3-lap. Yeah, no, should be an interesting night ahead for everyone.
Indeed it should, and Daniel Correa-Sarr's here as well. Been a big week for us, mate. Not the usual complement of broadcasts. We were here on Wednesday night for the Australian Open World Nationals. Now the Race of Champions. I don't know how you feel about it, but when you add a title to it, it adds just that little bit of extra significance.
Yeah, no, I agree. It makes it a little bit more a North Star in order to compete for. And yeah, staying with the Open World Nationals. Boy, wasn't that an event. Right off the heels of a big update. Looks like the buzz, or the keyword for the event was debris, which these guys don't have to worry about because the entire track is debris. So
yes,
they'll they're good on that front. But yes, should be a crazy event tonight, I reckon. And I have to admit, Hobson's done a really good job there, 15.908, and it looks like Baldwin. This is actually Baldwin's wheelhouse.
That's right. We're not surprised in the slightest to see it go up there right off the top.
Says we should watch Sim Chapman now just doing some laps. And it's very interesting because you would think, from a cursory perspective, you look at it and you go, right, it's a dirt circle. How much can you really, do with this? But you'd be surprised at how efficient some of these lines can be. So it all looks very tame right now as we watch qualifying, because obviously each person is qualifying on their own personal track. But once we get this race underway, I can only imagine chaos will ensue shortly after.
On the subject of the format, Josh, you might want to elaborate on this for us. Those that are new to the GSRC Race of Champions might not necessarily know what they're in for tonight. Those of us that have been here for the previous 2 know exactly how long a night this is. 3 different disciplines, 3 different cars, 3 different circuits. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so to highlight what you're talking about there, we'll take a step back and just highlight that these guys have no idea what they're up for. So these servers are not set up ahead of time. They have no idea of the combinations, so they're going in blind. And the whole point of this night is to showcase the skill set from the best drivers in the club in combinations that they're not going to be used to driving. So, Lanier in the dirt mini stocks, like, you might get the likes of Brenton and Joe occasionally getting in these, but yeah, it's not going to be something that these guys drive regularly. And pushing on from that, the format for tonight, we are looking at Quali. So the guys are going to attribute some points for Quali, and then we move into the heats. So the heats are going to be broken up. I believe it should be broken up into 2 heats for this specific combo. Top 4 instantly go through to the feature race, and then they go to a consolation where everyone gets a second chance that hasn't gone through. So the consolation, I believe, as well, will take top 4. So we should end up with a feature with the top 12 competitors, I believe, and then the feature is also awarded points. So every time these guys go on track, apart from the practice, I should say, they are awarded points, and all those points go into a table, and at the end of the night, the person with the most points, they get to, Johnny Merritt may keep the crown, but yes, it's all up for grabs tonight.
Well, Hobbo and Johnny Merritt, as you say, the former champions of the race of champions. Merritt, the defending champion. Chris Whitaker just chiming in there saying good evening to us. I'm a little bit disappointed that he's not out there, but ready to watch some sparks fly and some doors fly, apparently. And long-time audience members of the GSRC will know exactly what I'm talking about there. And we hadn't even shown Trent Lavis on screen just yet, although he is third on this grid. And then Greg Favell is fourth. Now, what's going to be interesting here, Daniel, is as we say, there are some guys out here, you know, dirt racing is part of their wheelhouse. You know, it's where they flex their muscle. But you look at someone like Greg Favell, you think also Damien Cairns, you think road racing, you think supercars specifically. There's no Gen 3 tonight. That's one spoiler alert I'm happy to give you off the top. There is no Gen 3 tonight, but that's been all the rave this week. And we are getting ready now for the first of our heat races. And there are the track conditions for you. 19-kilometre-an-hour winds in a mostly, what are we looking at there, southwesterly direction. 1600 local time, so that's 4 o'clock local server time there. 23 degrees the ambient, 18 the on-track weather conditions for you, and clear conditions as you would expect. The grid for this opening heat looks like this. You're going to see Brenton Hobson and Trent Lavis. You're going to see Gavin Simpson and Sam Chapman, Blake Fitz and Adam Johnson, Matt Schmidtke and Adam Lavis, Dale Sharp and James Francone out there in this first heat. The reason why you're going to see them, it's odds and evens. So they've taken those that finished first, third, fifth, seventh, etc. in the qualifying session and put them into heat one. Joe Baldwin and everybody else sitting back, ready to watch this one unfold. Thoughts on how this might play out, Dan?
Honestly, I have none, because it's a dirt oval, and every single time I've watched a dirt oval race, whether it be virtual or in person, it's never been predictable. So, yeah, look, once that rare pace truck gets off this track and the green flag flies, yeah, look, it's going to be dirty, it's going to be fast, and I would imagine there's going to be a lot of dents in a lot of cars.
Actually, speaking of flags flying, good to see that lazy so-and-so actually in his flag stand this time round. And good to also see that the iRacing crew, as part of the latest update, have finally added Barney within to the framework of the Sachsenring in Germany as well. We noted that he was a notable absentee during our 2 visits there in week 9 of term 4. So, this is week 11, essentially, ladies and gentlemen. We're well and truly into overtime now, because we were here for night 3, we're here for night 7. I'm reliably informed that there was a bit of a Mountain Men friendly had in the Gen 3s around Mount Panorama last night as well. So even though the official competitions within the season are done, there has been some friendly fire this week. But now it gets serious once more, because we get ready for a race of champions. The first heat, it is the Linear Speedway, and some bonus points have already been handed out as well with regards to qualifying too, ladies and gentlemen. Make a note of that. But the Linear Speedway in the dirt mini stock to get the race of champions underway. And as you can see there, the field 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 deep, ready for this first heat. The pace car pulls off into the pits. The green flag's about to fly, and for what will be 15 minutes or whatever the lap counter is, and I haven't seen the lap counter, so I can't actually help you out there, folks, just yet. Wheels are about to turn in anger, and they will go door-to-door racing, dirt style, to get us underway the race of champions. Great start, Brenton Hobson. Gavin Simpson down on the inside of Trent Lavis. Of course, Simpson, a GT3 champion throughout the course of this season. Lavis forcing the issue back there on the inside as they come through 3 and 4 and back around onto the main straight once more. Hobbo, clean and comfortable and checking out early.
I have to admit, very well mannered from everybody in these first couple of runs here. I thought for sure we'd see some sort of chaos, but no, everybody's done this well. There was a little bit of door panel rub there from Trent and Gavin Simpson, but now everyone's starting to fall into their line. Some of the back still running 2 by 2. But yes, Hobson out in front and with a pretty great charge, I might say, 1 second down the road. So for him, it'll all be maintaining that consistency. For everyone else, it'll be trying to hurry it up.
if these are 15-minute heats, ladies and gentlemen, then there's going to be a lot of laps, and these guys are going to get very, very dizzy between now and the end of the heat. They're just going to be flicking left for up to 4 times a minute.
Oh, he's round.
Chapo's involved. Now, will there be a caution thrown here because it is oval racing? No, it looks as though we're good to stay green for the moment. We stay green. It's Hobson, it's Lavis, it's Simpson. Then Adam Lavis, Fitz, Schmidtke, Dale Sharp's out there, Francone. Chapman and Johnson, 2 involved in the incident. They fall well down the order as a result. Lap 7 already. As I say, up to 8 laps every 2 minutes. So in 15, well, 15 times 4 is 60. So, but there's the white flag there. So that tells us now that we're only going as far as 8 laps for these sprint heats, ladies and gentlemen. So it's rapid fire stuff. And Brenton Hobson, unsurprisingly, too good in the opening heat. Job done. Hobbo wins comfortably from Lavis, Simpson, Adam Lavis, then Fitz. Got up to 5th in the end. Grosh, Schmidtke, Francone, Chapman, Sharp and Johnson. Sharpie falling down the order at the expense of Chapman a little bit late in the piece there. Chapo getting back up to 8th after being embroiled in an earlier incident. So we've got heat race number 2 about to form up. We'll have the results from heat race 1 there up on the screen for you momentarily. But in the meantime, there are the results. There's the grid for race 2, heat 2. Top 4, automatic qualification into the final. I don't think there are any real surprises with regards to that, except for the fact that Chapo will not be in the final. It's the top 4 going through. Baldwin and Favell, the front row, prominent figures of the club up there front and centre for this second heat. Brendan Grosh, Chris Noble, Damien Cairns, Jackson Dahl, John Merritt, Aidan Luthwaite, Dane Snedden and Daniel Snedden. Now, it's interesting, Snedden and I were exchanging barbs earlier in the day, actually, with regards to there's a lot of conjecture around, there's a lot of negativity around the Australian motorsport scene at the moment because IndyCar has done a deal with Stan Sports. Stan Sports going to broadcast IndyCar into Australian audience markets for the next short while. Again, a continuation of a partnership that started in 2022. But that's the world we live in these days. It's not a monopoly anymore. It's not all on Fox as it used to be. So I'm interested to see what Snedden has to say in response to my reply to his original comment a little bit later on, I'm sure. In the meantime, Sam Chapman joins us. We'll get to Chapo in a moment. No doubt disappointed with how that played out. Hang on, trouble here. Trouble here.
Greg
Favell pulling up right-hand side. Exit stage right. But now that's a developing story. He's on the tow rope and done. Greg Favell's in trouble. Joe Baldwin's going to bring this field to green. Chris Noble there with him. Grosh and Cairns too. Set for a start. Heat 2 of part 1, chapter 1 of Racer Champions Sunday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Let's go. Look at the start from John Merritt. 4th row. Up into 4th immediately. What a start from Hot Lap. Baldwin forcing the issue at the front, and Chris Noble going with him, Daniel Carrier-Sar.
Yeah, John Merritt had that lined up really, really well. You can see them coming around onto that, I guess what we call the straight. And yeah, as soon as he saw that the flag was ready to go, he pulled out to the left and just gunned it into that corner. So Joe Baldwin leading well. You can see, and look how aggressive it is in the cockpit here. Trying to look. Now that's the trick here with dirt, obviously, right? So just if we're taking measurements into perspective, then obviously the smaller diameter of the inside of the oval is the shortest route, but it doesn't allow you to get the most speed. So it's a nice balancing act as to where you want to be on the track at all times in order to maximize the horseshoe corners. And so far, Chris Noble's doing quite a good job at it.
Indeed he is. Round they come onto the main straight. Chapo, talk us through it. What happened, please?
Way to go there, unfortunately. It's just sort of one of those things that happens in dirt sometimes. And, I think the boys did a pretty good job to keep it pretty clean throughout that. I think it just sort of came down over me and ended in a collision.
Whoa! Aidan Luthwaite has been turned around as well. And there is a guy that you would expect to be rather prominent when we get to the circuit racing portion of the program a little bit later on tonight. Damien Cairns was the other one caught up in that. Greg Favell out, Cairns and Lewthwaite in trouble. And there is Brendan Grosh in the meantime. So, white flag in the air. This race running a little bit slower than the previous two heats. Oh, jeez. Joe Baldwin, however, doing enough to get the job done and qualify for the final, holding off the Downforce Legends champion in Chris Noble. Grosh is going to come through third and Merritt fourth. And you would argue that they will be sending their facts of congratulations and thanks very much, in fact, to Greg Favell for whatever the issue was there with Greg, because that is what has allowed one of those for a free spot in the final. But what a start that was from John Merritt. Heat 1, Hobson, Lavis, Simpson and Lavis. Heat 2, there it was for you. That was Heat 1, Hobson, Lavis, Simpson, Lavis, the two brothers doing beautifully. And Heat 2, Baldwin, Noble, Grosh and Merritt. Very nicely done. Sorry, Chapo, we had to jump in there. Go back to you. Nowhere to go, which makes a very difficult, scenario chasing your tail from this point forward. You've got the Consolation here now. How many spots are up for grabs out of this Consolation to go into the final? Do you know?
I've got no idea, but if you can tell me in the next 20 seconds before we grid, that'd be great.
I have no idea. Joe Baldwin's going to join us for a chat in the meantime. He might actually know because he and Nick Vodiatis were integral in putting this whole baby together. Trucker, good evening to you. Or good afternoon, actually. Let's be honest, you've only just knocked off lunch over there on the west coast, across the other side of the Nullarbor. Well done on the win in Heat 2. But do we know how many Consolation positions are on the line here? How many of these drivers will then be eligible to go in and race alongside the likes of Hobbo, yourself, and the two Lavis boys in the final?
The way I understand it, everybody will get to go through because we didn't get over 24 drivers. So basically what this is, it's like a 6-lap dash for cash to pick the starting positions for those guys that haven't qualified directly into the feature race. So this will set from position 9 to the back of the grid.
Copy that. Noting, of course, that the two winners will be 1 and 2, the two second places will be 3 and 4, etc. and so forth.
Correct,
that's the way it goes. And speaking of which, how nice is it going to be to share the front row with your old mate Hobbo?
Yeah, going to be good. Yeah, pretty good mates with Hobbo. We raced together at Bathurst in the Mountain Men a couple of years ago. Now we're actually going head to head, which is nice. So he's pretty famous for what he's done on dirt. So and I had a crack at it in real life. So it'll be good to get my ass whipped by him in the feature race, I guess. He's going to be really hard to topple.
Absolutely is. Stay with me, mate. We're coming back to you shortly. Lights out, away we go. The Consolation race is underway. Jackson Dial. Blake Fitz. Side by side. 3 trouble. Gone. 1, 2 involved. They kept it straight to a point. But one particular compromise in all of that. Blake Fitz has bolted. He's gone. It's Dial and Snadden or Snedden? I can't quite read it. I think it's Snedden. Dane Snadden, yeah, sorry. Yep. So we got, see, that's the problem tonight. We've got both Daniel Snedden and Dane Snadden out there. And because of the fact that it is heat racing, folks, our timing screens are displaying quite different than usual. There's just blank patches next to the likes of Hobbo and Joe and Trent, who are just watching on from pit lane as this plays out. So trying to read the leaderboard is quite, you almost need a science degree to understand it at the moment. And at the moment, we can tell you it's
they're locked.
Style and forcing the issue.
Now,
No,
Fitz-
Oh, and a mistake, a mistake.
Teammate's been gone. Oh boy. The elbows are out early here. Fitz is under pressure from Dial. What a marvellous week it's been for him. Down the inside. White flag in the air. We're on our run home. Dial's trying to get another win this week. He would love nothing more than to do it on a discipline that he's not necessarily familiar with. But I tell you what a run that was around the outside. Fitz has done enough to hold on. Blake Fitz gets it done. Dial second, Snadden third, Chapo home with a wet sail in fourth. Very nicely done. Johnson, Schmidtke, Luthwaite, then Sharp, Cairns, Franco, and Daniel Snedden, unfortunately, coming home a lap down. Now the lights go on. Now we go into prime time and showtime, Joe. Good luck in the final, mate.
Thank you, mate.
There's a 5-minute warm-up ahead of us here, and I'm not terribly sure why it's that long, considering none of the races have actually lasted that long. But yes, we've got a 5-minute warm-up. Just as we were building up the hype and getting everybody pumped up and excited, we've got a 5-minute warm-up. Hey, Chapo, that was an all right recovery.
Good start there, and we almost had the same thing happen again with the door closing, but I was able to get through with only a little bit of damage. So we'll take fourth. I think that puts me through. So happy days.
Indeed, good luck with it. We hope this final goes well for you, and of course, there'll probably be an extension on the laps, considering that it'll be an all-in affair. So hopefully enough of an opportunity and time for you to push your way forward, mate.
Fingers crossed. We'll say it's about like they're very, very quick races. So if something goes wrong in those ones, it's really, really difficult to come back. But 20 laps, you know, that's still not a long time. I think it's only about 5 minutes, but it won't feel like 5 minutes.
It's almost like the GSRC's tip of the hat to drag racing. Blink and you miss it over and over before it begins. I'm not sure. So Sammy Stride just alerting us that all the warm-up is hoping to achieve is to wear the track in for the final. And as you can see, there's a definitive black line forming on what we'll call the racing line throughout the course of the evening. So that's the purpose of the exercise there. Update from the cricket. 6 for 384 Australia at the moment. Cummins to 20 and Carey to 33, and we're 15 minutes away from Stubbs there. Big Bash following that, of course. Now, of course, here on the platforms of the GSRC, it's not possible for us to do what we do without the great support of Sprayton Cider Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Bowen's The Builder's Choice, JJZ Constructions, merch.tgsrci.com, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. Now, the other thing is, so Renegta mentioned this off the top, I should have. You've probably already picked up on it, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm sounding a little bit rough around the edges tonight. Woke up yesterday after feeling right as right on Friday night and going to bed, you know, at a relatively, civilised hour. Woke up yesterday full of a head cold and still trying to shake it off today. So if I do sound a little bit nasally, at least there's an explanation to it. But we're professional and we'll push through as best we can between now and the end of the night.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
There on the inside.
Now, it'll be interesting here too, Daniel, in this finale, if we get any argy-bargy early, whether they decide to throw the caution or not, just to settle these blokes down.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how... do we know the lap count for the final?
No idea. Josh might be able to
That's
tell.
all right.
No, I'm not too sure, and I don't actually know if I can change that information from time to laps on STK. So,
Copy.
fortunately, we're shooting in the dark.
You should be able to, and I'm sure Daniel will be able to point you in the right direction. Speaking from his own personal broadcast experience, Chapo's muted himself, so he won't be able to help.
You'll be able to. Yeah, we'll be able to determine it once they're out of the warm up. That's not an issue. But yeah, so what's going to be key here is because obviously now we're dealing with I think it was 20 cars. I think that will be on track at once. So, that's heavy. Yeah, so that's going to be part of the problem. See, if you put too much steering input, then the rear kicks out, you start going towards that inside wall, and there's nowhere for you to go but back into the main line around this circuit. And on dirt, you cannot change your line as fast as you can on tarmac. So yeah, they'll want to make sure that at least for the first couple of laps to get into that proper groove, because if anybody does cock that up, let's say, then yeah, we're going to see quite a massive pile up, I think, early on. So yeah, I do wonder if maybe a caution is ready and on standby if that does occur. 20 minutes or 20 laps. Okay.
20 minutes or 20 laps. Okay, copy that. 20 laps makes sense because that'll be about 5 minutes. So it'll be 3 minutes more than what the heat races were running based on those 15-second lap times. But again, with the nighttime conditions and a real coolness in the air, Hobbo's only been able to punch out a 16.37 in the warm-up session here. So will be a little bit slower, but it won't feel too much slower, quite frankly. It'll be rapid fire, it'll be frantic, it'll be rampant. And now look at that. We go from... What the bloody hell's going on here? We go from... we
skipped the day.
We go from nighttime, pitch black, or was it like 4 a.m. in the morning, and we're now at 7 o'clock. Can we have a look at the time and server settings, please, Josh? Oh, we've just been stitched up royally there. Yeah, okay. So basically, it was a pre-sunrise warm-up because we're at 8 o'clock in the morning the next day for the race. So there you go. 20 degrees the on-track, 20 the ambient, and we are ready to go. It is Hobson and Baldwin on the front row. It is Lavis and Noble on the second. Those winds are at 11 kilometres an hour in a mostly northerly direction. It is Gavin Simpson and Brendan Grosh from 3, Adam Lavis and John Merritt from 4, Blake Fitz-Am, Jackson Dahl from 5, his teammate Dane Snadden alongside Sam Chapman from 6, Adam Johnson, Matt Schmidtke from 7, Aidan Luthwaite, Dal Sharp from 8, Damien Cairns, James Francone from 9, and Daniel Snedden will round out the field of 19. No Greg Favell. So we are ready to rock and roll. Behind the pace car, or the pace ute or truck or whatever you want to call it, as we get ready to launch. So John Merritt will have to repeat the heroics of earlier and dive bomb down the inside to make up a lot of ground if he's to get into the mix early. Hobbo and Baldwin are expected to lead from the front. Must have had a rain delay. Yeah, exactly. Rain in the morning the next day. I like it, Jordan Malcolm. A bit like the cricket, actually. Hello, Chris Whittaker. Don't feed me straight lines this early into a very long night of broadcasting. Trust me. I made a point about that during the cricket yesterday, actually, funnily enough. So, we're ready to go. Trent Lavis will fancy his chances too. Will anyone from further back throw their hat into the ring? We'll wait and see. 20 laps ahead of us. The season finale of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Leg 1 of 3 for the night reaches its climax. Race of Champions. The Dirt Oval component about to conclude. Lights out, away we go. Trouble early. Trouble early. Trouble early. Bang, bang, bang. Gone. See you later. Oh, geez, they're about 5 wide on the back straight. That's never going to work.
Oh, and John Merritt's been turned.
I think they'll have to throw a caution if there's any more of that garbage, quite frankly. Oh, geez. More trouble.
Oh, and a mistake.
That was Blake Fitz in the wall on the inside on the run into turn 2. If you're staying out of trouble here, you remain alive. Chance. Oh, Chris Knight trying to get to the side of Baldwin. There are drivers that have been catapulted down the order as a result of early trouble, but thankfully for the moment, the likes of Hobbo and Baldwin and Noble are clean. But for how much longer? Blake Fitz already a lap down, so too Adam Johnson. Jackson Dahl down 7 spots. Gavin Simpson down 11. Trent Lavis received a door. How ironic. Chris Whittaker was just talking about that before we got underway. He's down 12 spots. Merritt down 6. Chapman up to 12. And Daniel Snedden's dropped down. He's up 5 spots, but he's lost out early on. Drama aplenty, and we're already on lap 5.
Yeah, that was a fairly big hit, and it caused quite a number of cars to fall back. So the issue here is when you're trying to do an overtake, like, just take a look at Matt Schmidtke here. So he's down on the inside line. He's coming up towards... That's Dale Sharp, I believe, there. So what ends up happening is if you run too close to your competitor, and then you think you're trying to avoid, you put a little bit too much steering input in, and then that means that you can't then give it the same amount of gas. So when you try to correct, you're just going to end up right in their door. And that's what happened there between Chris Noble and Joe Baldwin. Luckily, it wasn't a big enough hit that it caused either of them to go off to the walls of the circuit. So for now, they run fine, but Hobson, again, just showing massive drops here, 1.5 seconds down the road.
Damien Cairns to pit lane as well. The attrition rate.
Oh!
Gone! Baldwin runs into trouble. Trying to
was
get by
Luthwaite.
traffic of Aiden Luthwaite. And lap traffic was always going to play a part in this race after that early contretemps. Disaster for Baldwin outside the top three. Chris Noble, Brendan Grosh now lead the way in the chase for Brenton Hobson. Grosh up to second, up 4 spots.
Oh, but he's gone too wide.
Oh, and then there's a door, there's an elbow. Grosh is fed out to dry. Noble back to second. Lap 11, 2 minutes and 55 seconds gone, and we've got a race going here, folks.
And Hobson's nearly lapping the pack. Look at that. He's 3.6 seconds ahead of everyone. Everyone's been dooring each other, and Brendan's just like, see you later.
Chris Whittaker seems to believe that he owes someone a carton after Trent Lavis ended up down the order. We'll find out who that is so that you actually can put your money where your mouth is on that one, C. Whittaker, as they make their way around. Lap 13, Hobson in complete control. That lead now 4 seconds. 16.326 last time by. Baldwin to 4th, Adam Lavis following him through. Dale Sharp is 6th. The Aussie racer boys are dominating the bottom half of the top 10. Dane Snadden up to 6th now, getting past Dale Sharp. They're arguing over the same piece of real estate. Sharping's holding on for dear life here. Here's Matt Schmidtke as well. Trent Lavis back up to 10th. John Merritt back up to 9th. Sam Chapman only up to 11th at this point. Oh dear, what have we started? What have we started? Now, it's lap 15. Oh,
Look at the battle pack.
No, more trouble. I think that was Lavis getting another door. I might be wrong. We'll have a look in a moment. But the replay file will be working overtime here, I think. We're at 7:15 Eastern Daylight Time. Remember, next up, we've got League 2 of the GSRC Racer Champions. That'll be Rallycross, reliably informed. That's the second of the disciplines. And then, of course, on to circuit racing, the third equivalent. And looking forward to that immensely. Doors flying everywhere tonight, action-packed. You're right. And
Well, that was
still
a quick
somehow
time.
most of the field's still running, Josh.
Oh, up in the fence.
Sharpie gone.
I don't know where to look at the moment, Zach. This is
Nah.
absolutely mind blowing,
Madness.
isn't it? And it's rather hard for everyone. Rather hard for everyone because we don't have our numbers or liveries usual. So yeah, when we're trying to spot accidents and whatnot, it's very hard to call. I feel for you, Zach.
Apparently it's Chapo that's the recipient of the carton from CW. Oh, more trouble. Sharp in the wall again. Meanwhile, round they come.
Laps.
Hobbo's on his last lap. Hobbo's on his run home. Our former Racer Champions winner is about to chalk up the first one of the night, ladies and gentlemen. He'll sweep it as far as his participation is concerned. 2 starts, 2 wins. Brenton Hobson out in pursuit of another Racer Champions title, and it couldn't have started in a better possible manner. Second for Chris Noble, third for Brendan Grosh. Joe Baldwin recovered in the end for 4th, Adam Lavis 5th, that was nicely done. Dane Snadden, John Merritt, Trent Lavis back to 8th, Matt Schmidtke and Gavin Simpson. And a disastrous tale of what might have been beyond that. Chapo, Francone, Fitz, Sharp, Johnson, Dial, Snedden, Luthwaite, Cairns, and Favela non-starter. Oh boy. Yep. And as we already said, boys, the 88, incredibly impressive. From the outset tonight, Brenton Hobson, you got to start alongside your old mate Joe Baldwin on the front row. That was nice to see, but it didn't take you long to break clear.
Hey, Zach. Yeah, no, I knew that Joe would be good because, as we know, he's got a history in the dirt world in real life. So I wasn't too sure how we would go there in the feature race, especially, but the inside line managed to work for me and managed to avoid any chaos and got to the line first. But that was good fun. I really enjoyed that. It was like it was made just for me, Zach.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to dangle the carrot to get you back on the grid, mate. It's nice to actually have you in the booth. It has been a while since we've caught up on GSRC platforms, as you know. But these Race of Champions nights, we know that the next two legs will probably be a little bit more competitive in terms of there would have been a few people not necessarily comfortable or interested in the oval racing component. They are rip, tear, rush, bust sort of nights. But one thing it does test, Hobbo, as you know all too well, is your versatility. And you're right up there within the upper echelons of those when it comes to versatile performers on this platform. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's something that I've always prided myself on, is being versatile, if nothing else. So, yeah, these nights are well suited to me. I'm sitting right here next to me on my desk, Zach. I've got my trophy from 2022, the
Good boy.
Race of Champions. So
Yes.
it's here to do me well for tonight. But last year it was not the case, like you said. It was very, very competitive. John got the job done last year, and I was really not that great at any of the races. So, you know, you're right. The speedway certainly leans to my taste, and you're right, it's an acquired taste at that, so a lot of people there wouldn't be that comfortable or familiar with it. But in saying that, the mini stocks, which are only pretty new on iRacing, are actually a great car to dip your toes into dirt racing in, because they are very drivable and they're just a lot of fun.
While I think of it, before I forget, like I have done on 3 previous occasions on the platforms of the GSRC this week, I'm going to say this whilst Tobo's here, because I had the opportunity to share this news personally earlier in the week, and the committee members within the GSRC are already aware as well. But the great man's been somewhat integral in luring me across to another sim racing platform for next year in terms of doing some commentary with the Australian Sim Racing Group. And I wanted to just publicly acknowledge the guys there who came to the table and assisted me with upgrading some infrastructure and some broadcast equipment for next year as well. So thanks to the guys there. Black Friday certainly served everybody very well this year. Hobbo, the rest of the night, as you know, it's a rip, tear, rush, bust sort of scenario. You jump now out of the dirt stock. You go across, what we call that thing again? Dirt mini stock. I could never think of the name of it. It was sitting there right in front of me. But there's that much going on. I couldn't take my eyes off the monitor, Hobbo. We know that these other two disciplines are rallycross and also circuit racing. Any particular cars or tracks that you don't want to see in the next 2 races?
Nah, I think that's the whole idea of the night, Zach, that you just get what you get given. So it doesn't really matter what the car is. We're all going to have to deal with it. I'm interested to see what gets picked. I mean, we look at the cars and the tracks and we go, okay, well, we assume we'd probably do linear for the oval in some capacity, and obviously, and then rallycross at Sonoma, we assume, and then Oran Park for the circuit stuff. But you look at the cars and you go, well, there's two possible outcomes for all of them, 3 or more even on the road, depending how you look at it. I'd love to see the Pro 2 truck as our circuit vehicle, but I get the feeling that probably won't happen. But if it does, I'll be very happy. Otherwise, I'll just deal with it. We'll just go with it and get whatever we get. Indeed,
and just so everybody at home's aware, in the next couple of seconds, these boys will get their invite. Actually, Josh, how come I've got a green screen sitting here in front of me at the moment? Is that meant to be the case, or have I got a tech issue that I've got to overcome in the outbreak? I've got a green screen sitting in front of me from your end, so I'm not sure what's going on. I'll fix that up in the intermission. We'll take a break in a moment. Just so everybody's aware, the commentary crew, the broadcast crew, know what's going on to an extent tonight. These guys are flying blind, as Hobbo said. It'll be in the next couple of seconds that they will be presented with the car and track combo for race 2. I believe they were already aware of the cars, but not necessarily the circuits going into tonight. So all of that's a little bit of a surprise to them. The format's very simple across the board. There's a little window for practice. There's a little window for quali. So it serves those guys well that can just jump in and hit the ground running, master their setup and their adaptability, Hobbo. There's not too much time to muck around here.
No, especially once you get to the circuit stuff, dirt oval, we had 15 minutes of practice or something. You do about 500 laps, but when you've got a longer circuit, that's not the case. So you're gonna have to pull on your big boy shorts and figure out how to do it real quick. And that's half the fun. I love it. I think it's awesome. I like the fact that it's a level playing field for everyone, and we all got to figure it out quickly. And I reckon it's a cool concept.
Indeed, mate. And what else? I mentioned a moment ago, the Logitech stuff's been keeping you particularly busy, but what else has been keeping Hobbo busy in the last few months since we've seen you on the GSRC platforms previously, mates? No doubt some interest in the content drop from iRacing earlier in the week.
Yes, that's been keeping little old Hobbo very busy in the last few days, just trying to figure out how to drive these new supercars, which are quite a challenge actually, which is cool. But that's been keeping me busy. I haven't done a lot of racing the last few months, to be honest, but almost serendipitously, I don't know if I got that word right, but I've been doing some rallycross stuff. So you never know if that's what we've got here. That might serve me well, but. Other than that, just tiny little bit in the supercars, couple of races out in the old cars just to see them off. And this week's been helter-skelter trying to learn how to drive the new ones. But other than that, not too much. It's been quiet, and that's a nice change for me. Of course, as you know, not so quiet behind the scenes. But on the track, we haven't been doing a whole lot. So it's nice to come out here tonight and have a crack in a few different cars and have some fun.
Indeed, mate. Hey, very nicely done from you. We'll let you go. Good luck for the balance of the night. I'm sure we'll be checking in once or twice more between now and then, but well done, a perfect start, and hopefully a sign of things to come when we reach the next 2 disciplines, mate. Go well.
Thanks, Zach. Looking forward to it.
There he is, the one and the only Brenton Hobson, former GSRC racer champion Victor. We'll wait and see what he brings to the table in the next 2 races, which, as we've already seen, he's the main man. He's there in contention right from the outset, and we're not really surprised by any of that. Joe Baldwin's here, Sam Chapman too, Chapo. Chris Whitaker's volunteering to buy anybody that doors Trent Lavis tonight a carton, and apparently you're up. You've got a carton coming your way. Did you get into the side of Trent at some point?
Well, one of us got into the side of one of us, I'm sure. It was, I think, one way or the other, I got into the side of just about everyone that race. It was... It's been an interesting session so far. It was a great start, but it all went to the proverbial fairly quickly. And it was an interesting thing. I probably might owe a few cartons. I think I might a few cartons as well. So it's we'll see what's coming up next. They've just put the session up. Oran Park Raceway South in the Rallycross.
There we go. Very nicely done. Looking forward to that. I will need to take a break here at some point, though, gents, so that I can have a chat with Josh off air. Just trying to communicate via Discord and also broadcast at the same time. I'm not multitasking material at the best of times, least of all when I got a head cold, and I'm struggling to string my words together. But Chapo, obviously, even though that wasn't an ideal start to the evening, still plenty of room to move here and still get yourself back into some sort of contention.
Yeah, there is. It's going to be tough from that point. And, obviously the competition is fierce. So we'll see what happens. But, these things can always throw a cat amongst the pigeons, as we've already seen. So we'll give it a red hot crack and we'll see where we come to.
All right, mate. Any expectations as to how you might fare in the Rallycross?
Probably not my strongest vehicle, so might jump in the team server and ask Ben to give me a bit of advice.
All right, mate. We'll let you go and do that. Thank you. Good luck. Go well.
Catch up.
And Trucker, just before I do go to a break, welcome back into you. Interesting times here, isn't it? I mean, that was probably the stronger of your three disciplines. Obviously not an ideal result to drop out of the top three in the final there, but still a good points haul to take forward and hopefully buy a little bit of luck as we go here against fields where the drivers are probably going to thrive in these two disciplines that are upcoming more so than what they did the Oval, which is your wheelhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, look, the rallycross cars is probably something that I enjoy, and we're at Oran Park, so it's not too unfamiliar, I guess. We've done this on fun races a few times, I think, from memory.
Yep.
So, yeah, but no, I was in the slick when I come around. I don't know whether it was, I'm actually not sure who it was, but someone was backwards and I just never had enough traction to duck left underneath them or go around them. Like I couldn't manoeuvre the car and just collected him, put me back a couple of spots, and that was where I sat. It just couldn't recover. So everyone was a lot closer lap time wise, I think, than I was expecting, to be honest. So it was a fair bit of pace, especially from Mr. Noble as well. He was on fire in that one.
Indeed he was. In saying that, though, there was always going to be a couple of cats thrown in amongst the pigeons there. There were a couple of drivers that didn't necessarily have as clean a run as they would have liked. But that's the par for the course on this particular evening, is that you got to ride a little bit of luck. You got to buy a little bit of it occasionally. It's hard on a night like this, Joe, where there's three different disciplines, bugger all turnaround time, three different cars that you got to get your head around, as Hobbo was saying, and I guess as well, you can be, the Matt Denchers of the club. You can be the Greg Favels. You can be those champion performers throughout the course of a 10-week campaign. But the stakes are a little bit higher tonight, and the pressure is as well, because it all hinges on one night and three races.
Yeah, absolutely. And with minimal practice, I think we might get 6 or 7 laps in practice here, and we'll be done. So it's you got to find your lines, your braking points, and all that sort of stuff really quickly. So it's there's a car in the middle of the track. It's about being adaptable. You've got to be able to put in good laps really quick and learn. So I think I'm sitting second at the moment, third at the moment, behind fourth at the moment, behind Hobbo, Merritt, and Gavin Simpson. So yeah, it's. If I can sit fifth overall with the calibre of drivers we got here at the end of the night, I'll be pretty damn happy, because there's some absolute weapons out here tonight. So we had a good start there in race one. So hopefully we can carry the form through. All
right, mate. Very nicely done. All right. So, Joe, thank you for that for the moment. Well done. We'll let you rock and roll out of here. We'll let you go and set yourself up for the Rallycross. Same format for that one, ladies and gentlemen, with the heat races, the Consolation, and the final. The field quite rapidly making its way from one server to the other and building slowly to hopefully what will be a very good field, a strong field, a field full of contenders, a competitive field, I should say, a quantity field as well as a quality field based on what we've seen throughout the course of the season. A lot more drivers eligible for this than what have turned up, I would imagine. But so far, so good. Chalk up one for Brenton Hobson. John Merritt will be hoping to bounce back in this second leg. So too, Trent Lavis. We'll take a break on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club and come back with more. This is the final day of school for us for 2024, the Race of Champions. The continuation of what's been a phenomenal night so far, and the best is yet to come on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Leg 2 of 3 in our triple treat to bring the curtain down on the year of GSRC competition. The annual Race of Champions, we're coming to you live from the Oran Park Raceway, virtually, of course, in the Rellan in Western Sydney and New South Wales. And we are looking forward to Rallycross in the Volkswagen Rallycross cars for the next little while. We're on the South Circuit configuration here, not the full complement. And if what we saw at Linear was exciting, I'm sure this will only prove to be just as entertaining as the first leg was, because we know the nature of Oran Park and we know the nature of Rallycross racing. There's the server clicking over from practice to qualifying. It is a 5-minute qualifying session. It is all in. 12:20 server time, October 19, 2024. 19 km/h winds in a mostly easterly direction. Cloudy conditions. Very, very hot weather conditions there. 35 degrees on track, if you don't mind. Hello to Dave Noft tuning in as well. Part of that is blocking the other comment that I wanted to have a look at, but we'll get back to that in a moment. In the meantime, Daniel Correa-Sars back here alongside yours truly and Josh Zuno. Leg 1 done. No real surprise to see Hobbo prevailing. It'll be interesting to see if anyone can match him. We'll go toe-to-toe with him this time round, and we've got championship points that verify Hobbo's dominance from earlier.
Yeah, no, it's managed to take the top step on each of the on his heat and also the final there. So 65 points goes his way. Chris Noble managing to squeeze just in front of Joe Baldwin there for P2. 57 meets 54. And then Brendan Grosh and Trent Labors ran up that top 5, 15:43 respectively. Just watching someone doing laps in the background there. So this is listed as Rallycross, but it's more short circuit racing with Rallycross cars, because as of yet I haven't seen any jumps.
That's very true. That's very true. Oran Park never struck me as a dirt track in the first place, so it'll be interesting to see what the lay of the land is here. As you can see, the points there reflective of the results from the 2 heats, the Consolation and the final, and obviously Hobbo, Noble and Baldwin, the 3 to beat at the moment. 11 points between first and third, and still a couple of people there, Josh Zuno, that will be able to work their way back into the fight with a good run here.
Yeah, definitely. So we saw a bit of misfortune for previous club champion Johnny Merrick. Well, he's managed to hang it out in 7th. So 38 points. He's got a bit of a deficit to try and claw back. Obviously, at 38, it's nearly half of 65. My maths is horrible. I'm out by about 10, but you know what I mean. And yeah, Brandon Grosh up there with solid 50 points for the opening round. So yeah, it definitely goes to show you don't have to win every race to get decent points. And yeah, leading into the second round, we'll see who can hold on to those points and who can claw back some spots.
Indeed we will. Remember, we're here with thanks to the great people at Sprite and Cider. Also, of course, Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Bowen's the Builder's Choice, JJZ Constructions, merch.tgsrci.com, M-Wave Australia and Flash Graphics. Now, Chris Whittaker's going to back in Trent Lavis to bounce back for this one because the Rallycross is right up his alley. Why? Why would that be, Chris? Because you've got to get the, the elbows out and go door to door. Is that what we're getting at there? I'm not sure. Looking forward to it immensely. Brenton Hobson, no surprise to anybody here. He is on top of the timesheets at the moment. Daniel Correa-Sars, Brendan Grosh proving what a versatile performer he is. On his day as well, and Trent Lavis is there in 3rd place. John Merritt is 4th, but as we saw earlier, having that 1-lap pace is one thing, converting it into a race-long performance and maximising the points haul and the results there, completely different story.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing too is to keep in mind is obviously we are back on a proper circuit, so this is going to bring back to a lot of people. This is going to feel a lot more natural, and so I would imagine there's going to be a much closer field as we get racing. But again, yeah, Hobson 40.09. Wow, that is a short lap, isn't it? I didn't realise just how small the south configuration of Oran Park was. But Ben Grosh there, 0.5. I have to admit though, 5/10. That's quite significant.
Indeed, it is. It's a
Considering
substantial
everyone else.
margin. It's a huge statement already from.
It is. Because everybody else is, you can see there. So for those who aren't aware, well, we know who's won the. Maybe because if I remember correctly, Hobson got. Which race was it? Was it race 2 where Hobson got a flat tire? Because I know it was an oversight because of the vintage Fords, the old Legends cars.
Yep.
And we put them on a rallycross track, and it turns out the tyres didn't like that. And so when they landed, some of them had a tendency to burst. And he got caught out by that. I think, I could be wrong, but I believe that's what happened, and John Merritt ended up taking it. Now, admittedly, John Merritt's quite low on the championship standings right now. He didn't have a great final race there. So he'll have a lot catching up to do should he want to defend that. But for now, again, yeah, sorry, just to bring to the point, for those who aren't aware, red on the timing table means they're within 0.5, and yellow means they're within 1 second.
Dry conditions but cloudy skies for this first heat of the night. Again, not sure exactly how many laps the first heat is, but it's scheduled for 10 minutes of racing time. If it's any indication from what we saw at the Speedway earlier, we will obliterate that. Now, excuse me, Greg Favell and Joe Baldwin the front row, Dane Snudd and Sam Chapman the second, Trent Lavis, Brenton Hobson the third, Aidan Luthwaite, Blake Fitz the fourth, and James Francone from row number 5. Is this some sort of invert top 6 grid or something like that?
Those numbers kind of spoke to me that they might actually be a randomised grid. So if we go back, have a look, it's up and down and all over the shop, obviously.
It is.
Pobbo put it on poll, and yeah, there's no real order to it. So it must be a random grid by design.
But that's, I guess that's the art and the entertainment factor of rallycross competition for you. Oran Park, probably the biggest crowd you'll see at Oran Park for a non-supercars event. Ready to rock and roll here. Dane Nofter replying to Chris Whitaker. Yes. The banter is rife tonight. He's been messaging me internally as well, has CW. Let's get ready to rock and roll. 2 heats, a consolation, a final, and then we go circuit racing in the MX-5. It's an early start, of course. We're leg 1 done. We're 2 legs to go. It's 11 past 7 Eastern Daylight Time, 11 past 4 on the West Coast, 11 past 9 in New Zealand. Actually, a family-friendly time slot for our audience in New Zealand for a change. Set for a start, the first 8. To turn wheels at anger in Rallycross at Oran Park. Let's go. Have a look at the defence work going on the run down to turn 1. Trouble. Oh, whoa. Speaking of the doors, there they are. Joe Baldwin's got through. Brendan Grosh to second. Whoa! Aidan Luthwaite sliding through there in behind Sam Chapman. How about that? Clean start for the most part. Couple of doors dented, but we're good. I'm going to run down towards turn the final quarter once more. What are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 turns around this configuration of the Oran Park Raceway. Blake Fitz in trouble early. Baldwin leads to turn 1 on the second lap. Trent Lavis keeping him honest. Sam Chapman not too far away. Frantic start to race 1.
Yeah, so Hobson ended up getting caught out on the outside as they went around turn 1. Luckily, no damage or anything. He just went for an adventure around the dirt. But Joe Baldwin has rocketed out. And you can look at the weight transfer of these cars when they come around that hill. It's insane to watch. He robs the wall.
And as our friend Chris Whitaker's pointed out, Trent Laves, this is one thing that he teaches, weight transfer, skid control. Yep. So this is definitely his wheelhouse, and up 3 already.
And keeping Joe Baldwin honest. Baldwin's going to lead them through. 3rd lap. And on the run down to the dog leg for the 4th time. For the 3rd time, I should say. This is Trent Lavis, who you're riding on board with. He had 2 wheels in the grass there, sliding across the top of the hill. Now, hugging the inside of the Rebel strip. They're not often road-friendly all the way through machines. You've got to have a little bit of road, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of, grass in there. So Trent just keeping with the rallycross mantra there, if you like. And he's pushing his teammate Joe Baldwin every step of the way here. Off for Aiden Snadden, but Baldwin leads Lavis Chapman. So 3 of our prominent GSRC men right at the forefront there. Aiden Luthwaite, Brenton Hobson. It's weird to see Hobbo that far down after putting it on pole position quite comfortably earlier in the day. He's a stone's throw away. He's not far away at all. But if he can't find a way by Aiden Luthwaite, he's going to have to run his way into the final through the Consolation. Now, we know that everyone will qualify for the final, and 20 of these things, or 16 of these things out there in the final is going to look absolutely superb, but not often that you'd be talking about Brenton Hobson in the Consolation race. But there it is, up and under. Can he get the job done? You beauty, and he can. Skillfully done on Aiden Luthwaite.
Not a typical spot for overtaking either, that one. That was, confidence under brakes and just showed his nose, and Aiden was very respectful.
And something you might have already noticed for those who are watching at home as Luthwaite decides that he's got a little bit too much paint on his car. The acceleration in these things is insane. They weigh almost nothing, and so that's why they look so zippy. It's because they are. And Trent Lavis is right up there. He's sniffing the back of his teammate there, Joe Baldwin. And just curious, I wonder how many laps we have in this, because surely they won't be doing 10 minutes. But for now, Joe's actually doing a really good job. But Trent's going to get, I think Trent might actually get him on the bottom of this straight.
Keep your eyes peeled, because if it is an 8-lapper, just as the Speedway was, it'll be a white flag this time by. So, or next time by, I should say. So Baldwin, Grosh, Lavis wide.
He's going to get caught out here.
Inside. Lavis will have the inside running for the left, for the right hander, but Chapman will have the inside running for the left.
Oh!
There's another door! And there's another potential carton for Sam Chapman.
Still
Chris
in fourth.
Whittaker's doing his Christmas shopping tonight. Chris Whittaker's going to be out of funds for Christmas by the end of the night. Can you believe that? Trent Lavis drops to fourth, ahead of Aiden Luthwaite, under pressure from the youngster right now as they cross the start-finish line at the end of lap 7. I think the memo reached the appropriate people to learn that Chris Whittaker was happy to put cartons on the line for anyone that found the door of Trent Lavis. That's 3 of them already. He's down 3 cartons already.
Now watch. Now just have a look at Hobson and how he attacks here, because Sam Chapman's going to be, we know how good he is in terms of defence. He likes to make his car a little wide. So you just watch here, because Hobson's probably going to get a decent line out of the exit. And if the draft pulls as much as I think it does, so we can see that it's 10 laps now. So they've got 1 and a bit. Oh, he's going to look at the inside. Oh, no, keeps it back just a little bit. I thought he'd give him a punt, to be honest with you. But no, he pulls it back. So this is all working in Joe's favour. The more these guys fight, the bigger that gap at the front gets.
Hobbo's a much cleaner racer than what would have otherwise, been illustrated had he found the back of Sam Chapman there. So it didn't surprise me to see Hobbo be able to pull it up. But now, will Chapo be able to defend Hobbo through the final lap, and will Trent Lavis have something to say about it on the comeback trail? White flag in the air. They're 10-lap heats, ladies and gentlemen. About 7 minutes of fast, hard running here. Baldwin, one hand on the victory. Chapman there in second, defending Hobbo and Lavis. Lavis defending Luthwaite and Snadden. In fact, having broken clear, I should say, of Luthwaite and Snadden. Second, third and fourth, nothing in this. Look at the run from Hobson. Trying to mount an assault on Chapman down the inside. Oh, Lavis! Oh, great solid defense from Chapman. Main straight, checkered flag, and Joe Trucker Baldwin's got another W to his name on Race of Champions Sunday. That's the race of the night so far, gentlemen.
I was. Oh, look at that! It's Herbie on the outside. Oh, looks like Fitz might get him on the inside here. Hey, but I was so hoping that Trent was just going to absolutely lick the stamp and send it right off the inside of the two. He did it. That's fine. An amazing recovery from him. But yes, congratulations to Joe Baldwin taking out the first sprint.
Now, should point out as well, Big Bash underway tonight as well, folks. There's the results from race 1. So that was Baldwin, Chapman, Hobson, Lavis, and then Luthwaite. So they're all qualified for the final. You'll see Luthwaite, Fitz, Snadden, and Francone again in the Consolation in a few moments' time, and Greg Favell out of business. A non-starter. Hopefully we'll see him in the circuit racing component of the evening in a few moments' time. There's the grid for race 2. Chris Noble, Gavin Simpson. Chris Noble loves these short tracks based on his Formula V success. Matt Schmidtke, Adam Lavis, the second row. John Merritt, Brendan Grosh, the third row. Again, that's invert top 6, as Scott Jordison correctly pointed out in our comments section. Adam Johnson and Jackson Dahl from the back of the grid. Revs building, revs rising, set to go now and away. Great launch. Great launch on the run down to turn 1 from Chris Noble. Down the outside. Nope, not going to be able to hold it. Might lose out to Adam Lavis on the inside and does. Simpson the leader. Noble getting the doors out and putting them to good use. The elbow on Adam Lavis goes through to second. Lavis back to third and Merritt fourth. Grosh and Schmidtke arguing over the same piece of real estate. And in behind them, of course, Dahl and Johnson. The top 8 all within shot there momentarily. Up onto the main straight. Johnson made inroads there, got down on the inside of Jackson Dahl. Gavin Simpson has the lead. He has the fastest lap of the race. Holds it wide at 1. For a moment there, he might have thought he was going the long track. That is costly.
Whoa!
Oh, now he's smoking.
Oh!
There we go. There's your first monster pile-up of the night. Holy smokes, John Merritt sees part beautifully. What's that? The little mermaid on the side of the car. Down on the run towards the final corner. Merritt to third. Lavis to second. Chris Noble leads us across the start-finish line. Then Brendan Grosh has slipped to fourth. Simpson and Schmidtke on the tow rope, already with bungled up cars. So we've seen our first big one of the night, gentlemen.
Wow, and I think John Merritt's very lucky to escape with no damage, no visible damage anyways there, but battle here for the lead. Got Adam keeping Chris honest, and I don't know if either of them have any experience in this in this combo.
Oh boy, Joe Baldwin and Sam Chapman watching on from our broadcast booth at the moment, about to get ready to go out there and race in the final. And gentlemen, you're probably both happy that you're in the cleaner of the two heats.
Yes. Was that the cleaner one, was it? Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Well, actually, you're up for it. You're going to get 2 cartons, KRC Whittaker, I understand.
Yeah, good. No, I've been looking forward to that. I've got a bit of room in the fridge, so I think it's about time. But yeah, no, that was hard racing. It was, well, yeah, you always got to live at space. So that was the result. Wow.
On replay, John Merritt. Wowee. The action continues to unfold here.
Did Adam just spin?
I think he did. Yes, he did. Adam Lavis is at a spin. Brendan Grosh and Jackson Dahl and John Merritt are in striking distance of Adam at the moment. Up the outside, that is going to be Brendan Grosh having a crack at Adam Lavis on the run down to turn 1, and Grosh to second momentarily. Lavis gets him back. The Pepsi versus the Castrol. Have a look at this. Brendan Grosh with the big send. Simpson and Schmidtke remain on pit lane after that monster pile-up a few moments ago. Lap 5 of 10. Trucker, all smooth and clean sailing for you.
Not really. I'll tell you what, bloody Trent was filling up the mirrors very, very big and wide down at turn 1 there, and I was trying to go deeper and deeper, and just I managed to brake at the right time, turn in. I think that's sort of what might have set up that incident with Sam, because I caught Trent out because I didn't run wide and too deep on that particular lap, but it's definitely hard work. I was lucky with the invert in this race, so it's yeah, we're going to have to play hard in the next one because it looks like Chris Noble's going to be on the front row next to me, so he's going to be hard work around here, even if I do have the pole.
I was noticing there, Joe, was it by design or were you trying to hug the inside and flow turn one? Because Trent was very much trying to V it to get a run out up to 4, I believe it is, next overtaking opportunity. Was that by design?
I tried both ways. When he got really close, hug him tight, I think was probably the safer line because there's not a lot of chance of getting overlap between turns 2 and 3 down to the double right-hander where they're here now. It'd be very, very difficult to get the overlap and make a pass happen. So when you're on your own, I think V'ing it to get the run off for that second little short straight would be a bit faster. But this part here where they are now, my favourite part of the circuit at Oran Park, probably almost my favourite sequence corners on the service, to be honest. I love the flip-flop here. As Adam gets into the wall, Brendan makes a run on the left. Was that to run to the flag? No, he's still got a couple of laps to go. So he's got the number done. So there's another bank of points for him over Adam.
Indeed, indeed. Speaking of the points race, you were third going into that, Joe. But I mean, obviously we've still got the final to go, but you've narrowed the gap, the deficit to Hobbo, which will suit you well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure. I didn't actually have a look and see where Hobbo finished in that one. But
he was third, I believe.
So we're only 6 in now, so he'll start on the 3rd row, I believe, for this. But there's a lot of laps for him to catch me, guys. It's he's so fast and smooth. He was nearly a second or 8 tenths, I think, faster than the next guy in qualifying. He's just on the ball here, just so smooth with his inputs, and that's why he's one of Australia's best, right?
Exactly. And we're very lucky that he's within the ranks of the GSRC. Brendan Grosh bowls it wide and gives second position back to Adam Lavis. Chris Noble further showcasing his versatility, well out in front of the moment, 3.3 to the good. And now it's a different fight that awaits Brendan Grosh in the form of defending John Merritt. Last lap, white flag in the air.
And we all know that's a full-time job. Anytime you got a mirror full of Merritt, you're in for a bad time.
Oh, another mistake.
Oh, he pinched the brake down into turn 1 a little bit there. Probably lost a bit of time.
So, half a lap to go, boys. And Adam Lavis is going to, you know, put his hand up right here and now and say, hey, don't forget about me. Just because Hobbo and my brother and Joe are out there doing good things doesn't mean I'm not going to be there when the whips are cracking. Chris Noble, however, is the winner of Heat 2 of the Rallycross component of the Race of Champions on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Very nicely done. Lavis in for second. Brendan Grosh held off John Merritt in the end, less than half a second. Jackson Dale, Adam Johnson. And the retirements, Gavin Simpson and Matt Schmidtke. If we can show everybody a replay of that carnage, Josh Zuno, that'd be fantastic. Daniel Correa, your thoughts?
Yeah, what a cracker race. Look, I'm thinking we should vote for these to be a mainstay of the GSRC seasons. This is awesome.
The Race of Champions or the Rallycross?
Well, no. Obviously, the Race of Champions. What my point specifically with these cars, they're mad. The way that they're sliding around the track, the draft is really powerful too. So it brings them back together. You know, if someone drops back, it's I love it.
No, it is a pretty good night as the Consolation race gets underway. Jeez, they didn't muck around there, did they? We didn't even get to show you a grid, ladies and gentlemen. It's Matt Schmidtke, Gavin Simpson, James Franco and Dane Stanton on the run out of turn 1. So these are the guys that are just going to keep us entertained here for a couple of moments. Consolation race is an 8-lapper and an invert top 6. Thanks to Scott Jordison for keeping us abreast of that. The reality... Gavin Simpson, according to Mike Taylor, having a rough night, yes, so far. But we will, no doubt, see him thrive when we get to circuit racing a little bit later on. That seems to have been his wheelhouse. We've lost Joe Baldwin for the moment. Sam Chapman's still here. Those guys are about to get ready to go out in the final. Just the 4 starters here, which is interesting because we saw a lot more than that start the Consolation race on the Speedway. Different horses for courses, I guess. But it doesn't necessarily matter what happens here, boys, because as we've already alluded to or highlighted, they all get a start. They all get a Guernsey in the final. This is just literally dotting the I's, crossing the T's, rolling through the motions and working out exactly who's going to start in what order.
Oh, that rejoin.
Oh, no.
Rejoin?
So he's clipped him.
Whoa, wild ride. Boom. Bang. Oh, wow.
That's unfortunate there for Snadden. That's really unfortunate there for Snadden. Doesn't look like there's damage to, or at least it doesn't look like it's too serious. But obviously, he's recovered incredibly fast though. Now looks down the inside.
Definitely saw damage on Hobbo's car in race 1, so I'm not too sure if what's going on here. That would have definitely caused the damage.
Again?
Jeez, no holds barred tonight. Everybody on the ragged edge on the absolute limit here. And the reason for it is because this is one off. You know, this is one of those nights where it all hinges on what plays out over the course of about 4 hours. There's no 10-week campaign. There's no need for consistency or anything like that. They just need to put on their best possible effort, their best possible performance tonight. So, yes, it might get a little bit hairy, it might get a little bit sketchy, and it might therefore up the entertainment for those of you tuning in at home. But these guys are leaving nothing on the table. Matt Schmidtke, the leader at the moment. You saw James Francoeur and Gavin Simpson mowing it wide there a few moments ago. That's allowed Dane Snadden to very comfortably take second place for the moment. And James Francoeur is about 1.5 seconds off Gavin Simpson as they cross the start-finish line one more time. Lap 5 of 8 already halfway there.
Yeah, so because of all that there, everybody, and the fact that there's a couple of cars on the track, all the gaps have exploded. So Schmidtke is just putting on an absolute masterclass right now. But just look at how much the cars slide. So this is one of those things. I feel like this is one of those cars where it's probably perfectly suited for something like a Race of Champions because it really does showcase a driver's skill. Because it's very easy to get these to swing, and so to be able to have that small or fine motor control in there, so to allow it to swing out but to keep it still in control so that you can make it well around the corner, yeah, really, it just is a perfect fit. And not only that, but it looks amazing to watch them go around, and I can only imagine that the drivers are probably smiling from ear to ear.
Well, if they're loving
close
it
now,
then everybody's happy, aren't they?
That's it. And look at him now. Snadden managed to bring this back.
So, Schmidtke to bring us down to the end of lap number 6.2 to go. Schmidtke, Snadden, Francoeur and Simpson. It's one thing for Schmidtke to make a mistake, but Snadden needs to be able to capitalise it and not make a mistake simultaneously. Down the main straight to turn 1. The Volkswagen Rallycross entry. Whoa! Schmidtke's wide and gifts the lead to Dane Snadden. One small mistake, but as we said earlier, these drivers and these cars live on the edge. They are used to sliding. They're used to kicking 2 wheels into the dirt. They're used to the drift work. So whether it's tactical or not from Schmidtke, it's worked for Dane Snadden. Now, just while I get the chance, Australia finished today at 7 for 405, and the Melbourne Stars at the moment are 2 for 8. 2 for 8 in the 4th over of the Big Bash season opener as well. So make a note of all of that. Dane Snadden leads us to the white flag, and he's on the run home. And how good's tonight been? The generic once-off liveries. We're tipping our hat to Sesame Street right now with Dane Snadden for Whiskey Business Racing. How good. Round we go. And if you're looking for directions towards the checkered flag, let alone Sesame Street, well, it's around this final corner. Dane Snadden, there it is, onto the main straight, checkered flag in the air, and it's yours, son, well done. Deinstaden beats home Matt Schmidtke. James Friendcoat and Gavin Simpson, 3 and 4. And you're right, Simpson's night just goes from bad to worse. Walk home in the
Then
Consolation.
worse again.
Wowee. Exit stage right and on the tow rope. Oh, big lock up across the road and launch. Watch this. Whoa, holy cow. Bang. Well, he doesn't get the full 10 points because he landed before the wall. If he went in on the fall, you would have given him 10 out of 10.
Oh, look at the drift too.
A very good morning. Actually, is it morning already over there? Actually, no, it'd be late Saturday night for you, Sean Benici, would it not? Good afternoon, good evening to you, tuning in there in Alaska. That was a point of discussion the other night, of course. Out comes Brenton Hobson, out comes John Merritt. We're about to rock and roll with the final race of the program, leg 2 of the triple header for us tonight for the GSRC Race of Champions. 6 out of 10, Mike Heaney. Good on you, mate. Thank you. My comments being verified. 2 for 13, actually, the Melbourne Stars, by the way, boys. And there are the updated points coming through for you at the moment. They're being worked on as we speak. And that gives you a little bit of an indication as to who's doing what. Hobbo's still on top, but the margin trimming and thinning as we speak. I agree with you, Daniel. I reckon, I mean, we specialise in circuit racing, don't we? But we do have, no doubt, a discussion to be had with regards to broadening our horizons, because we do have that little niche group within this club that enjoy the dirt racing and also the rallycross.
Yeah, I just look again. There's something about watching them go around the circuit because they're a rallycross car. They've obviously got shorter gear ratios, and you punch through the gears very fast, and they're incredible. The acceleration is ridiculous on these, which is why they look so zippy. But I reckon and this is, you know, I have absolutely no control or sway or anything like this, but I reckon if we did a short course season with these, it would absolutely go off, because I'm not in the car, and I'm like, I want to be. I chose not to compete tonight.
Yep.
Maybe I should have, because that looked like a lot of fun. But in any case, yeah, I just feel like it could provide a whole season of that. Look, sign me up.
And I think the other thing as well, to extend on Daniel's point, Josh, is that there will be drivers like Daniel that aren't that are eligible for tonight, but are sitting on the sideline for any number of different reasons. But what he said there about being captivated and absorbed by what we saw in the rallycross, and we've still got one race to come, folks. We're looking forward to that in about 20 seconds' time. But I think the biggest surprise for me this season was just how universally loved, supported, and well received the Oz trucks were, the NASCAR trucks. I mean, you will have to go a while, I reckon, to find anything that succeeds and thrives off the top as much as that does in terms of left field choices. We're not talking Carrera Cups, we're not talking GT3s, we're not talking supercars, but maybe the rallycross is it. Maybe it's the next success story a la the trucks.
Yeah, and to be fair, we were a bit caught off guard by it. Obviously, we're piggybacking the success of the Australian eNASCAR series, as well as not from our shores, but pretty close. SVG jumping in the series over there. But yeah, it took the committee by surprise there. But good to see.
Indeed. Rightio, here we go. Setting up here for the final. Brendan Grosh and Brenton Hobbs in the front row, Adam Lavis, Sam Chapman the second, Chris Noble, Joe Baldwin the third, Trent Lavis, John Merritt the fourth, Aidan Luthwaite, Jackson Dial the fifth. 12 laps with an invert top six, which is why Hobbo's back there on position number 2 and Joe Baldwin's back in 6th, more to the point. And then Blake Fitzadam Johnson, Dane Snadden, Matt Schmidtke, James Frencone and Gavin Simpson. Only 16 in this field. Let's hope there's a few more turn up for the circuit racing component of Racer Champions Sunday in a few moments' time. 12 laps, invert top 6, set to go now. Leg 2 underway. Our beautiful start up there on the outside by Adam Lavis, but he's about to get swamped on the inside.
Oh, they've got to be careful. They've got to be careful.
Uh-oh.
Oh, his brothers helped him out.
Brother into brother. Oh, dear. Joe Baldwin, a good start. Adam Lavis has been muscled out of it down to 11th. Baldwin up to 7th. And, yep. The door rule only applies when it's Trent's door. I think we need to clarify that. Adam Lavis in 10th place at the moment, side by side with Aidan Luthwaite, gets by him. Did Hobbo jump the start is the question from Chris Whitaker. So this is the final chapter of leg 2 of the triple header tonight. And from here we'll know who our champion of the rallycross discipline is.
Oh, Sam.
Chapo's off and on the dirt. But the beautiful thing about the Race of Champions night is you've got to be the best over the 3 cumulatively rather than just one or the other. And off goes Dane Snadden. We're down to, we've got a 16 car. Oh, big one, trouble.
Oh, that's a big one. That's a track block.
Wowee.
I love that Chris Noble had a beetle on his car. He had Dane Snadden on his car, and he just went, if in doubt, power out. He just,
now,
God.
important to point, important to note, Brenton Hobson on pit lane. So,
wait a minute.
Onto something. Chris Whitaker was under something. Brenton Hobson has jumped the start. Brenton Hobson is on pit lane and come back out again. He had a drive through. So Hobbo's back out in 15th, and that has blown the Race of Champions wide open. Wide open. John Merritt up 6 spots already. Next target, Brendan Grosh. Sam Chapman's right there with him. So whatever happens from here, gents, we've got a different discipline winner for the first 2. Different discipline winner from heat 1 to heat 2, or leg 1 to leg 2, I should say. Wide goes Grosh. Hot Lap's going to lead us across the field. Look at that gone! Grosh gets into the side of Merritt and Chapman leads it on par.
Lavis is in it.
19 Lavis. Again, not his door. Him running into somebody else's. Aidan Luthwaite, Adam Lavis on pit lane. Drama aplenty at Oran Park. That invites Hobbo back to 12th. Brendan Grosh now on pit lane as well. Oh my goodness me.
And that is an interesting name on top of the charts at the moment. So 12 laps here. We've got Trent Laves leading away lap 5, about to turn into lap 6. And I don't remember where he's standing on the points, but that's interesting.
So it was the second of the Lavises that was caught up, and it was Adam.
Yes.
Just to clarify as well, we're getting too excited about how many doors the Lavis boys have had fed their way tonight, but no. Chris is only counting it when it's Trent's door that's being smashed into. So, costly that one for Noble, for Simpson, for Grosh, for Lavis, for Luthwaite. Gavin Simpson now out in 13th place. Hobson is 12th with the fastest lap of the race and with a bit of a point to prove.
It looks like Sam just got a bit squirrely out of the final corner, and Trent had a sublime run. So
Lavis to the lead. Daniel?
Trent, just to give Trent some credit. So when Adam Lavis came around that first turn, he was absolutely going to completely spin out. But Trent shot up the inside, hammers the front of his brother's car, and puts him back on track. So that's some sibling teamwork right there. But then unfortunately we saw that big mess on the back, and Adam couldn't avoid that and gets caught up there. So Trent Lavis now a decent gap, but we've seen just how fast these cars can catch up to each other. And so if Sam and Trent keep fighting, that's going to allow Joe Baldwin and John Merritt to get back up there. So instead of 2 battles of 2, it's going to be 1 battle of 4.
We do need to see a replay of that all-in crash down at the bottom corner. If you get a chance, Josh Zuno, please. 8 of 12 as Lavis leads Chapman, Baldwin, Merritt, Dial. This is how it all started. So Dane Snadden got caught up in it, but it was actually on the inside. Look at it. Before we even got to the final quarter, and Gavin Simpson just had no way of pulling it up. 1, 2. So there were 2 parts to that. Then evasive action got taken, and then there was no room. Nowhere to go.
And Noble with the Noble with the beetle on the beetle.
He just drives out.
Now the other thing as well, boys, just before we get ahead of ourselves here, the other thing to make mention of is you will now see back into pit lane comes Dane Snadden, by the way, and Aidan Luthwaite's still there.
Oh, now he's going to look at that.
Now, more to the point, how has John Merritt ended up down in 4th place? So, Merritt's got himself back up to 4th after that incident with Brendan Grosh, wasn't it? So,
yes,
good recovery, but they've lost their opportunity to latch on to Lavis and Chapman now. They will not catch them. That incident will rub that out of the potential possibilities in the equations of scenarios here. Trent Lavis leads Sam Chapman 2nd. 3 laps to go. We're riding on board with Chapman. It's Lavis, Chapman, Baldwin, Merritt and Dial the top 5. This is really going to rattle the cage and shake things up on the point scoreboard. I'll be interested to get Hollow's take on the jump start ruling in a few moments' time as well. Blake Fitz to 11th. Lavis a lap down. Snadden, Simpson, Grosh all 2 laps down. They're still out there and in contention. Aidan Luthwaite rubbed out of business and will be classified as a DNF. Down the main straight we go. Carnage at Oran Park. It's been fantastic viewing for those of us watching on from afar without vested interest. But for anyone with invested interest, I tell you what, you'd be tearing your hair out at this point. Here comes Merritt on Baldwin again. No, Baldwin's going to hold on to the inside. Merritt throwing everything at Truck, all over him like a cheap suit at the moment. But Joe, to his credit, is withstanding the pressure, boys.
Yeah, and
he's doing really well. Oh, sorry.
No. I was just pointing out there. Trent got very lucky there coming into that final complex, leading into the final left-handed, the sweeping left. He just managed to point it straight and get on the brakes. Just enough to hold up Chapo's line out of there to dissuade the run. So very lucky there for Trent.
And
now, Daniel, as you go on with that point, I want to know when iRacing will, as part of their patch updates, when they will bring in the brooms and the like of, and the sweepers of the iRacing world, the flag marshals, to clean up the debris, because you can see plenty of it on the racetrack right now. Trent Lavis is going to get the job done. Let me come back to you. Trent Lavis with getting the job done here, holding off Sam Chapman. Lavis wins leg 2 of the GSRC Racer Champions in emphatic style at Oran Park. Joe Baldwin 3rd, John Merritt, Adam Johnson, Jackson Dahl, Matt Schmidtke, Chris Noble, and then the cases of what might have been Hodson, Frencone, Fitz, Lavis, Snadden, Simpson and Grosh. Yeah, you almost had me, John. Don't worry about that. I saw that, and I'm trying to have a serious conversation here with my colleague Daniel Correa-Sarr, but well played. And you're right, and it wasn't lost on any of us. We were trying to work out whether it was the Little Mermaid or something in between. But Daniel, interesting the way this is playing out.
It is, and again, I can't remember who it was that made the comment, so I do apologise. But someone did say, well, I guess we know who's going to win this. This right here, this entire chapter 2, if we want to refer to it, is why you can't make those comments, because you have no idea what's going to happen. So, obviously, it's an unfortunate thing that Hobbo jumped the start. And so he had to come in and deal with that penalty. And, I mean, it's a decent recovery, though. Where did he come out? Something like...
9 there.
So yeah, he ends up finishing P9. So, and a great drive there from Trent Lavis, considering that he ended up getting caught up in that turn 1 debacle. So yeah,
it's hard for me to put it into words, honestly. But like, that was the greatest 15 minutes or so, or however long it took, I've ever seen.
It was fantastic racing. Nearly 10 minutes in the end for those 12 laps. Lavis from Chapman, Baldwin, Merritt, Johnson, the top 5. Magnificent. And I'd like to remind John Simpson as well, I shouldn't, but I'm going to, that we're trying to present ourselves as though we're in a family-friendly time slot at the moment, John. It is only 4:30 on the West Coast at the moment, or approaching 5 o'clock, so we've got to behave ourselves. Easier said than done, I get it, but anyway, we'll work on that. There's the replay for you, ladies and gentlemen. Trent Lavis joins us. So too Sam Chapman and also Joe Baldwin. Daniel, I didn't get to finish, or didn't get to come back to you on the point of what the bloody hell are they going to do with the debris? Are they going to deploy the brooms and the the sweepers and the blowers, the leaf blowers, to get rid of that when they deploy cautions and whatnot? Or have iRacing not thought that far ahead yet?
They wouldn't, I can't imagine that they'd go to the effort of actually trying to animate all that, but what I could imagine is when they do implement the new race control system that they're working on at the moment, I can imagine a scenario where they might give control to a race admin to say that during a caution period, to clear some of debris, or possibly all of it, or maybe a percentage, however it may work. So I could see them doing that.
All right, we'll follow that with interest as they continue to develop the software and the platform. Some hairy moments here. Now, Trent Lavis, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Chris Whittaker's up for about 3 cartons of booze tonight, because anytime that you get doored, he's reaching into the inbox of whoever's doored you and seeing what they're drinking. And handing out Christmas presents. However, you've done remarkably well there to keep your nose clean, withstand the pressure of old mate Chapo, and come through and take the W here. Well done.
Yeah, I've had a bit of hopeless luck as always in the first couple of races and that, but yeah, that one there, all the luck came to me. Like all the seas basically parted, and I just kept driving around and kept it clean and come away with the W's. That's all right.
Now, as far as the night so far is concerned, it looks as though your heat race has actually cost you the outright honours for this portion of the program. It looks as though Chapo, despite not winning the feature, has pipped you by a point there, and then another point back to Trucker. And Trucker's actually leading the way in the GSRC Race of Champions. How appropriate. El Presidente's never won this thing. 110 plays Hobo, 103. Oh, no, I mean any El Presidente. No. Yeah. Trucker, you've got a bit of history potentially at your hands here. 103 for Hollow, 101 for Chris Noble, and 100 for Trent Lavis, and 85 for Sam Chapman. So arguably it's a race in 4 going into the final of the night, which we'll get to in just a few moments' time. Josh, you're supposed to probably not reveal the information of where we're going for round 3 of the program, but anyway, it has been revealed now. Now, on that note, Trent, what do you make of the rallycross around Oran Park South?
Love the truck, hate the car. I've never been a fan of this thing. I like the other rallycross cars. I like the Fiesta. It's my jam. Yeah, this thing is a little bit ugly to drive for me, but it's still good fun. It's good fun layout and a bit of a challenge for the boys, which is good, especially this new debris model, which is the first time I've tried it. It's pretty rad how it all works, so I'm quite enjoying the complexity of that.
You use the word complexity, and people might not appreciate exactly why you use that word, but this is something new for you guys to have to contend with deteriorating track conditions as the race plays out.
Yeah, that's right, and it's cool that it's dynamic, sort of similar to driving on the dirt, I suppose. Is the gravel appears after someone drops a wheel, and then after a couple of laps it blows away, and you got to know when to hold and fold. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. I like that sort of driving.
Talk to me about the late race battle there with Chapo. Once you brought a little bit of clear air there, Brought a little bit of luck along the way. Some of your main contenders fell by the wayside, but Chapo kept you honest.
Yeah, Chapo was driving well last few laps there. He was sneaking a few off tracks I see in the mirror, a bit cheeky, but yeah, I just kept it clean and made sure I just got focused on the corner exits, so you didn't really have a chance to attack. So yeah, it was good.
And I mean, the other thing is you're one of 4 contenders now going into the final round, which, as we saw, a little bit of a spoiler alert there. We know where we're going. We know what car it is. What are your thoughts?
I haven't driven the Oaks 5 for about 18 months, so giddy up. We'll see how we go. So I probably might get back a little bit in this one, I think. We'll see what happens.
Jackson Dial and Joe Baldwin exchanging sympathy there with each other with regards to the shape of the steering wheel and sim rigs and what that means for racing rallycross cars around Oran Park South. And Jackson Dial's been on the receiving end of a little bit of door-to-door work. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a moment there where you and Adam Lavis were to the side of one another as well, I think I remember.
Yeah, Adam got turned around in turn 1. I seen him coming across my nose. I said, stuff, I'll try and straighten him up. So,
Yeah, I knew it! That's what I said!
Because there's nowhere I could have gone. Old mate was up the inside of me.
Yeah.
Exit stage left in the middle of the paddock, trying to cut it inside everybody. And yeah, so I just sort of, tried to I broke just before I touched him to try and sort of straighten him up. It looks like it crunched me a little bit on the front, but I had no steering damage, which was lucky. So it was, like that. I had a bit of more struggles through the race, unfortunately, after that.
Birthday presents are back on the table, Lebsy.
I don't know about that.
Now, the other thing as well, I mean, it's never lost on me how entertaining it is when the likes of you and Hobson and Merritt come in here and say, I don't necessarily like the car or the track or any combination of the above or both, and yet you still find a way to extract some good pace and some good times and some good results out of a track.
Oh, that's just learning on the fly, mate. That's sort of what I've always been good at. Not needing a lot of laps to be able to get my eye in. But the other boy's just as good as I am, so if not better in some regards, especially Hobbo. He's done a lot of laps this thing compared to what I've done, so all power to him because he's the benchmark man to follow.
Yeah, Tony, to answer your question, I'm pretty sure information regarding the track was released earlier in the week, but not the cars. I think the cars were supposed to be a little bit of a surprise when the server dropped, so we've created a little bit of a spoiler alert there. But we knew the format, we knew how it was working. There were just some little bits and pieces of information and detail that were withheld from the drivers.
We actually knew nothing, so we had 6
for that
cars.
element of surprise. Yes,
So it's
Chapo.
6 cars given to us, and we were going to use 3, and we had no idea of the tracks or whether it be dirt or bitumen or really anything else. So they gave us a bit more information last year. This year we walked in almost
Flying a little bit more blind.
It was just we had 6 cars that we knew would pop up at some point.
So there you go. Essentially, yes, there was some information that was known, some of it withheld, just again to add to the degree of the difficulty of the challenge of the task at hand. Trent, good luck in the final, mate. We'll come back and have a chat with you as soon as that's done.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Catch up with you.
He's one of 4 in contention for the race champion title. And apologies for anyone at home, you might notice that I'm sounding like Robert Downey Jr. after a big night. It's mainly because I woke up with a head cold yesterday and haven't been able to shake it. There are the points for you, ladies and gentlemen. 10 points covers the top 4. Baldwin and Lavis, the top and tail of that 4 at the moment. Hobbo and Noble right there in the thick of it as well. Cannot wait to see what Brenton Hobson brings to the table in the next car very shortly. The Mazda MX-5 from Sonoma. That server will be getting loaded by all and sundry in about 2.5 minutes time, the top of the hour Eastern Daylight Time, 8 o'clock. And then same format, little practice, little quali, and then just the one race there. I'm not sure of the length of it, but just the one race to determine our Race of Champions winner for 2024. Joe Baldwin, you are loading in now. To you, your thoughts on that, considering that you came home 3rd. No love lost between you and John Merritt there at one point, and that really denied you guys any chance of being able to go with Chapo and Trent.
I think I said before that race is when you got Merritt in your mirror, you know you're in for a tough night, and that's exactly what happened. I had the cover. I knew John had sort of had a poor finish in the first. in the first race on the speedway. So he's down a fair bit of points. I needed to bank as many points as possible, so I just went maximum defence. When those guys, like, so there was an incident down at turn 1. I think there was another one about on lap 3, and I had a clean run, like it was good. And then John was coming, so we were chatting in Discord while we were racing. I told him to bugger off and leave me alone. We're laughing about it, and yeah, so it's just good, hard, respectful racing with John. He's always fun to race with, and he's the current champion for a reason. And you got him and Hobbo and Trent and all these guys that are right there. I don't know where I'll finish overall, but I tell you what, if I can just let them guys wipe each other out, I might go over the chocolates. We never know, but it's going to be a race won on luck, not on skill. That's for sure.
Absolutely, especially given the car of choice, which still gives former race control members of this club nightmares. Just the mention of it. Hello to our good mate Nick Goring on that note. Now, Joe, the Rallycross Oran Park. In your eyes, did you enjoy that as a combination?
I love it. I loved it. I think there was a couple of Friday nights a few years ago where we were running just fun servers, and the guys always enjoyed doing the rallycross cars on little short combination tracks, and that track was always the one that everyone enjoyed the most. And luckily for us, Nick chose it, and it sort of turned out good for me in the end. So it was. Probably more points at the end of it than I was expecting to be have in the bank, but I'll take it as a bit of a head start in this race. I think if I can finish top 3, it should work out pretty good for me. But we'll see where we shake out at the end of it, because there's probably 10 guys in here that can win an MX-5 on any given night.
Well, that's exactly right. That's the great unknown about this night, isn't it, mate? You just don't know who's going to deliver what and who's going to run into bad luck and who's going to buy some good luck. And so far, you've had 2 relatively clean runs.
I have, I was disappointed at the time to get 4th in the road race, in the speedway race, but that's racing. There was guys there. I think Chapo got taken out early in that race, so he dumped a heap of points there, and everyone's got a story, right? And that was just my story, but I still got a good finish, and I'm still in a reasonably good position at the moment now, going into the final. So hopefully we can make the most of it. Considering I had a pretty lackluster season in the regular series this past season, it's nice to be able to shine on a stage like this for a change.
Daniel Carissar's just left us. We weren't expecting the great man to join us for the entirety of the evening. Hopefully he'll be back before the end, but if not, we thank him very much for his efforts thus far. There are the results for you as they stand at the moment. We're loading into the Sonoma server over there in California as we speak. Trucker, go well, good luck. I want to have a quick chat to Chapo here before we do launch into it. Go well.
Thanks, mate.
So, and it's just a one-off race as well. So it's not like there's any inverts or any of that that we normally would have to contend with on an MX-5 server, ladies and gentlemen. It is just one all-in, first past the post, survival of the fittest sort of setup. Chapo, you're 5th in this race at the moment. And you've got John Merritt sitting 1 point off you. Is there any way in which you two guys could possibly work your way within that fight there, knowing that you're 25, 26 points off Baldwin as we speak?
Like, it all just depends on how much death there is, Zach. Like, it's we'll see.
That's
probably not. Like, but that first round obviously hurt me a lot, and but obviously to get up there in the rallycross, not a car I know well at all, so I'm very happy with that, and we'll give it a red hot crack, see what happens.
What about the race just gone with Trent? I mean, not the first time you two blokes have been sharing real estate with one another this season, but how close were you to being able to maybe mount an assault and take the lead away from him?
Not far off, but I just didn't quite have that extra edge. And, you know, it is a hard track to overtake without there being a mistake. And he didn't make any mistakes. So that was what it was. And, yeah, I'm happy to come home second with that. It's, you know, it was a tough race regardless. And, you know, I didn't expect to be up that high, you know, with the talent that's sitting up the top there. But, yeah, we were close, but not close enough. Trent drove really well there.
And once again, your versatility is serving you well, mate.
Well, I mean, we'll say that. We've had one good round and one shocker, so we'll see what happens in the MX5. As much to my dismay, there is no invert race.
Yes, true.
We'll, you know, given I wouldn't be surprised if my quali's going to be rubbish, we might have to treat it like one anyway. But, you know, it's it's a field stacked with talent. I probably won't be able to chop through like I sometimes can.
And Sam says that with a degree of statistical evidence to back up his performances, ladies and gentlemen, because he was 4 from 4 in the invert races in the GT4 campaign that he lost by a solitary point this season. Not to rub salt into the wound or anything like that, but yes.
I've got some therapy booked in for that.
I don't doubt that. But when it comes to this car, this format, you know, the invert situation, that was Chapo's wheelhouse in that GT4 campaign, as we said. Many race wins throughout the course of the campaign, but 4 of them were in the invert races in the GT4 series. Good luck, mate. I hope it goes well.
Thanks, mate.
Well, let's take a break, ladies and gentlemen. I probably need to catch my breath. As you can tell, I'm limping through to the checkered flag on this one. On the subject of that, we will bring you some qualifying. We will bring you the race in full very shortly to get us to the checkered flag, not just for the Race of Champions, but for the 2024 GSRC season as a whole. The calendar year reaches its conclusion on the other side of this short break. Sunday night motorsport, our first one in a while. It is Race of Champions Sunday, and the grand finale of the Race of Champions comes your way on the other side of this short break. We're 8:05 on the East Coast, 10:05 in New Zealand, and 5:05 on the West Coast. We hope you're enjoying your Sunday, however you're spending it, and we're grateful that you're spending a portion of it with us. Leg 3 of the triple treat for you. Sunday night on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, our last night of the year. Our last night of term 4, which reaches the end of its 11th week. Yes, a special events week here for us, of course. Well done to Jackson Dial again, the Australian Open World Nationals winner on Wednesday night motorsport, and Josh and I might have a chat about that in a moment. And then, of course, well done to everybody so far for their participation in the Race of Champions, which reaches its climax here at the Sonoma Raceway in California, the United States, the West Coast, and out in wine country. And there it is. Full circuit. NASCAR version would have been better, says Chris Whitaker. But yes, it's the full circuit, the full version for you folks. 12:26 in the afternoon, local server time, which is, considering it's October, that was still during American Daylight Saving Time. Just wanted to get that one in there for cheeky reference because Chris Whitaker's tuning in. I mean, at that time of the year, 18 hours difference between the west coast of the USA and the east coast of Australia. But as we know at the moment, it's 19 hours difference. 5 km/h winds. I'll get to those track conditions in just a moment. But this is the lay of the land. This is the real estate for the next short while. About half an hour's worth of racing coming up for you tonight, folks, with the little caveat of a little bit of strategy play being involved in this race. That'll surprise nobody, knowing that Nick Fodiatis is the orchestrator and the organiser of all of this. Brenton Hobson, Trent Lavis, Adam Lavis, Chris Noble, Brendan Grosh, John Merritt, the fastest in this session at the moment. What's interesting, right? What is interesting is that this is a 10-minute session, but it's 2 flying laps. It's a 2-lap qualifying. Brenton Hobson's still the top of the timesheets there, 1 minute 44.803. Trent Lavis, and that's and then Adam Lavis, Chris Noble, and Brendan Grosh. And that's the hard thing, isn't it, Josh? When you look at the lay of the land here, for these guys to get out there and get amongst it and hit the ground running and basically bank a Hollywood number first up, easier said than done.
Yeah, that's it. And as Trent highlighted, he hasn't driven this in a year or something. So, yes, Sonoma's a great track. There's some blind corners. It's gonna prove to be absolutely door banging here. I have absolutely zero doubts. So, yeah, as we can see, Hobbo's punched a fantastic lap. I believe that was quicker than any of the laps in practice. So, yeah, he's putting it on the table when it matters.
And look at all these blokes lining up saying, oh yeah, throw the rain at him, throw a torrential downpour, do this, do that. I agree, Watkins Gunn's a great combination in any car. Sonoma's also been good. Every time we've visited there, we've never had a dud. Let's wait and see what unfolds in the third and final leg of our Race of Champions for the course of this campaign. You were never going to get a wet race with Nick Fodiatis, boys. If you were listening in a few weeks ago, you would have got his expert commentary from the LMP2 round that we had with Texas Freight Insider from the Suzuka circuit, and he wasn't necessarily fond of that. Now, Josh, before we line up on the grid, we've got about a minute here. Be remiss of us not to mention exactly how good Wednesday night was for anyone that tuned in. Another Australian Open World Nationals, another bit of silverware in the GSRC cabinet, and also in the Whiskey Business Racing cabinet as well.
The narrative continues, doesn't it? What an absolutely banging race everyone put on. So, yeah, I'm going to say it played out nearly rinse repeat of race 1, which happened, Q3 of the year. The boys were... The boys from SRW were very much in charge of the race, and then a late safety car was brought out, and that just brought Grosh and Dial back into the play. And my gosh, didn't they hang it out for the end? Jackson Dial, I'm not too sure. I didn't ask him if he was trying to save tyres in the lead up to it, banking on a safety car restart. But yeah, he just went around the outside. I'm losing the name in my head, unfortunately. Who was P2? But yeah, fantastic race.
Yeah, indeed it was, and the SRW boys are now trying to find new ways in which they can try and wrestle the stranglehold out of the GSRC hands for the first of 4 instalments of the Australian Open World Nationals in 2025. But no, well done to you and the boys over there at SRW for the work that went in trying to make that happen. Now, we get ready to rock and roll here, folks. The clock says 40 minutes. but we're reliably informed that it is 15 laps. The grid for the final race that will help us determine not only the victor for leg 3, but also the winner of the night overall looks like this. It will be a standing start. So that'll be a concept not unfamiliar to these blokes. There it is. Brenton Hobson and Trent Lavis, the front row. Adam Lavis and Chris Noble, the second. Brendan Grosh and Sam Chapman, the third. John Merritt and Blake Fitz, the fourth. Matt Schmidtke and Joe Baldwin from 5. No Aidan Luthwaite on the grid this time around. It's important to note as well. Row 6 is Gavin Simpson and Dale Sharp. Row 7, Dane Snadden and James Frencone. Row 8 is, well, hang on, no, Josh Zuno's not out there. He's in the broadcast booth, so it'll be just Adam Johnson taking the grid in position number 15. So we dropped from 16 to 15 for this one, but we look forward to seeing how it'll play out. This will be an awesome amount of fun. Hobbo has to go in as favourite, and he needs to overturn the deficit to Joe Baldwin. He's one of 3 drivers within striking distance there. Josh, how do you see this one playing out?
Well, if I know Lobesy, he's not going to let Hobbo run away with it. He's going to be showing his nose early and, yeah, putting on display his talent. So just spotting Trucker there. I'm not too sure if he bottled his quali, but he's got a bit of work to do back in P10. Obviously, current leaderboard on the top of the leaderboard. So, yeah, a bit of work there.
And important to note as well, because the quali rules here, Hobbo, Noble and Lavis have all shaved 5 points out of the deficit. So it's now going to be interesting to see. It's a 6-point lead to Joe. 114 plays 108, 106, 105 for Trent, and 89 for Sam Chapman. So it's all getting updated as we go to air here. It's all getting updated live. And Joe Baldwin has only a 6-point advantage over Hobbo going into this final race. The final one of the year on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Let's go to work from Sonoma. Great start for the 2 Lavis boys. Trent got the better of Adam, but Brenton Hobson's going to lead the field to turn 1. Now, if anyone's going to try and fuel save here, it'll be Adam Lavis. But I'm not sure if there's any merit in trying to do that. He's got Chris Noble all over him like a cheap suit. John Merritt up there on the outside. Gets by Sam Chapman and Blake Fitz. Brendan Grosh swamped off the start, lost 3 spots. Cleanly through the first sector. Mr. Ellis, predicting that this will go off. He's right. Yes, Jenny Davison, you're right. Tony Baker, thank you. Off goes Adam Johnson and Joe Baldwin. Oh dear, can you believe that? Ariana Starkus, you may have seen the comments in the lead up to us going back live. Ariana Starkus predicted Joe to end up in an incident. The commentator's curse, the commenter's curse has struck.
Brendan Grosh in the background too.
Trent Lavis to the lead on Brenton Hobson. Now, what else happened there? Brendan Grosh has lost 9 spots too. So Grosh caught up in an incident. Baldwin caught up in an incident. We might have a chance to fire some replays here, Josh. But already trouble for the leader of the series coming into this final round. Hobbo with a little bit of work to do. It could be him versus Trent for the title.
Well, just a bit of hip and shove there, unfortunately, and he kept on the gas. So that's an unfortunate one. Jump back and have a look how Brendan got dead. Like he's got Matt Schmidtke beside him there, and he's just caught a bit of too much inside. So always on the brakes, and that's good dodge by everyone.
Very good.
The other one we missed was, yeah, we missed the setup for that, so I might jump back and see how he set that one up.
Tony Baker saying that John Merritt loves the Mazda MX-5. He's 5th at the moment, not out of business. This was good work from Trent Lavis, diving down the inside very early in the piece at the carousel. Not waiting for any second invitations, taking the first one.
So incredibly clean. He looks like he's caught Hobbo there with his pants down a little bit. He is a very, very, very precious driver to have behind you, Trent, as is Hobbo. So it looks like Trent is actually punching out a bit of a lead. So I'm not too sure if we've missed something there, or Adam is right on Hobbo's tail.
1.7 seconds. Yeah, now this is interesting as well, because Stewie's comment is prevalent because Noble is in this fight. Noble is an active contender in this 3-horse race for the race champion's crown. Joe Baldwin, a lot of work to do in 14th. We're probably rubbing him out of the equation at the moment, which I didn't think we'd be saying. which means it's a racing 3. Adam Lavis is the unknown entity in all of this because he's not in contention. 1, 2, and 4 are Lavis, Hobson, and Noble. Now, Hobbo is the leader at the moment by 3 points on Trent, but only on Noble by 2 points. So Lavis at the moment, he might be doing enough here to overturn that deficit. And if Adam can get by Brenton, that'll make it even more favourable for Trent. Yeah. Correct. Hello to Chris Whitaker again on that note. No doubt on to cold one number 2 as we rock and roll here. Lavis back in 3rd place behind Brenton Hobson. Good to see Hobbo out there, sporting a very different looking livery to usual, a very plain white rather than the token blue that we're used to. The signature blue, I should say. Now, Trent Lavis is cleared out. He 2.8 to the good. He knows that he has to get on with it to join the elite company, Hobson and Merritt, as a Race of Champions victor on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. 4.5 minutes gone. Our last night of school for Term 4, our last night of school for 2024, with confirmation of a relaunch date coming up. Yes, I think Trent meant that he's only been driving the MX-5 for the past 18 months rather than this is the first time that he's in it for the, in 18 months. Now, that is Adam Johnson going into retirement.
It's a very
Jono's
damaged
night
front
is
end
done.
there.
Jono's night is done.
I wonder if Trent's had our good friend Nick in his ear about practice your pit stops. Practice your pit stops. So that'll be the deciding moment. So we can see that Trent is punching very quick laps. He's putting on 3.4 per lap. He's just punched out the fastest lap of 1:44.87. So he is definitely running away with this, but I have no doubt Hobbo is a wheeler and a dealer. He might know the numbers and he might be like, I can save it. Who knows?
Maybe so. Maybe so. And I wouldn't put it past him. Now, here's the other thing as well. This is Dale Sharp. Door to door. And turned around. Joe Trucker Baldwin on the pit lane. James Frencone down in 14th. Dale Sharp up to 12th. Gavin Simpson, the one ahead of him. Now, Trent Lavis leads by 3.82. Hobbo, Lavis, Noble, Merritt all in behind that. Sam Chapman is 6th under pressure from Blake Fitz. Lap 4 of 15. 1 minute 45 a lap around here, so don't worry about the 40 minutes, folks. This one is running less than half an hour. 21 minutes for 12 laps. Carry the 3 on the back end of that gives you another 5.25, and that gets you up to 26.25 plus the splash and dash. So it should be somewhere in that vicinity of 27 minutes race time here as they cross the line. Noble under pressure from Merritt, and they're following Adam Lavis to the chicane. Through they go. No shortage of overtaking opportunities around here.
Yeah, Stuart Ellis with the inside info. Very slow to fuel.
Oi! Merritt to the inside of Noble. Can't get it done. Merritt hangs tough on the outside. Got a little bit squirrely on the exit. I'm coming back to you, Josh. Hold the phone. Merritt has to yield. Noble consolidates just a little bit longer. And that's advantage Adam Lavis. He's brought a little bit of breathing space, but only ever so much. And they're within striking distance of Hobbo still as well.
Yeah, so we won't see until a bit later that fuel window come into play. But yeah, it could be an interesting one if anyone can manage to save a sneaky amount of fuel. 2 laps is a lot. And dare I say, Nick would have tried by design to make it next to impossible. So it'll be an interesting.
It's interesting you say that because he loves the fuel save. Nick loves running the tank empty. So, but at the same time, he loves putting these guys through their paces and testing them. So he's going to tick all the boxes tonight.
And as we can see there, it looks like Lobesy's punched out. He is a second a lap quicker than the field at the moment. So the only other one in the 5s is Brandon Grosh down there in P10 currently. And Lobesy's absolutely checking out here. He's 5.3 ahead of the pack.
So I think the reality of the matter is we're going to have to ask Hobbo what the bloody hell happened there at the start of the feature race in the rallycross, because that could be the difference in the end. Down the inside, Noble to third on the inside of Adam Lavis. Job done. Noble on a charge. We said there were 3 contenders chasing after Joe Baldwin, Noble being the third of those. Now he's put himself into contention. Merritt capitalising on Adam Lavis while he's at it, while the on time. Striking key early into proceedings here. Lap 6 of 15. Got to run these drivers, get these drivers rather than think on the run. And I agree with that with Nick Fodiatis' assessment of the situation. Lavis right there with Merritt. If anyone can fuel save in this field, you're looking at Adam Lavis. But Hobbo's right there with him as well. Noble looking ominous, trying to close in on Hobbo. If you can get by Hobbo, oh yeah, the whips are cracking. But Trent's lead now is out to 6.3 seconds. So whether Trent is aware of the fuel save game that's going on behind him. And it's interesting too, because these guys just seem content, Josh. It's not the usual token Mazda MX-5 racing we're used to, which is just a crash fest, a wreck fest. You know, and overtaking aplenty. These guys seem happy to just tuck in behind Hobbo and roll with the punches.
Yeah, well, and yeah, add the fact that it's Sonoma, which, dare I say, unless people are running combos that I'm not sure about, it's not one of those commonly run tracks, you know, especially this configuration. So, yeah, minimal practice. We could actually just be looking at a pace discrepancy here, time to time.
Joe Baldwin's got himself back up to 12th on that note too, folks. Dale Sharp, the latest retirement. And James Frencone in trouble early too. He's out there is the better part of a lap down. Will be by the end of this lap, I'd say, on Trent Lavis. But continues on after that pirouette job. Dale Sharp joins Adam Johnson in retirement. Been a big day for Dale, actually. He was running in an event that was actually being broadcast by our colleagues over at SRW this afternoon. And then, oh, there's Trent riding the curb. Commitment plus. And then I think that was in the Renault Clio. And then jumped straight into the GSRC Racing Champions. So a busy day under the roof of the Sharp household, and in the cockpit, in the rig, in the study for Dale.
Well, there's no better way to practice for this event really than there is to drive those combos that you're not expecting to come. So everyone should be aware by now that the organisers like to throw everyone on their heads, give it a spin, and see where it lands. And we're seeing out here. One thing I'm noticing, Trent's taking a lot more curb than everyone, so he's obviously confident, dare I say, with this combo by the look of it. Past 18 months have done him well by saying it.
But this is the thing, isn't it? And I mean, obviously, as you can tell, it's a little bit processional out there at the moment. He's Merritt trying to get back by Noble, but they've lost ground to Hobson. This is the thing, and you've seen it as many times as I have, and I've been seeing it for, well, this is the end of my 5th year as part of the sim racing commentary scene, and as part of the GSRC. What we're seeing here is a perfect illustration of it. Doesn't matter how long someone like Trent Lavis spends out of the rig, or, you know, it's been so much time between driving a particular car. It's, you know, intuition. It just comes back to you instinctively. It's like getting back onto the bike or putting on an old pair of jeans. It just seems to be a comfy fit. I mean, to have that ability to just pick it up and run with it seamlessly, instantly, There's a lot of people within the club that would envy that.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, isn't it? So if I didn't run with him in the Aussie Racer crew, then yeah, I can imagine it'd be really frustrating to see someone punch in on the odd race and then put themselves right up the front. But yeah, like this really is the cream of the crop, we say, but you can't even call it the cream of the crop because this. I should say it's all cream.
It's not there.
Yeah, it's all cream, guys. So yeah, that's a big notable miss. We haven't got Mr. Dench on the field, so. But yeah, we've still got some tight battles up the front. So looks like top battle for second here is still pretty tight. We're looking at within a second and a half gap for both of them. So the three, sorry.
Yeah, it's 1.3 seconds or 1.2 seconds between Hollow and Merritt at the moment. Merritt, the fastest one of the three at the moment on the racetrack. Tyres begging for mercy.
Interesting to see if
Send
we
It
can...
Nation actually with a good point there. Josh, we're talking about the new supercars earlier. Continue on, sorry.
No, I was just saying it'll be interesting to see if we can audibly hear any notable bits, any fuel saving coming from these guys here. But yeah, no, V8s, everyone's going to be running the V8s, but we really hope that there is a little bit of a difference with what the gents aim to do with the V8s, which will keep everyone interested. So not a liberty to say anymore. We're not actually going to release our schedule until I believe it's first or potentially the second week of January, just to let everything, the new update play out and filter out, and keep everyone happy. But I believe that we can mention that the start of the season is the 20th of January.
I've been saying it all along. At least I was on the money. Again.
That's it.
Which means that the checkered flag will fall on what did we say Friday was? It'll be the 5th of December next year. So the Monday will be the start of grand final week, Monday, December 1. International Day at the Freezer. That'll be lovely. And then through to the Friday, which will be the 5th. So that'll be the end of the year. And of course, the special events will probably follow into the second week of December as they did this year. 47 weeks of competition ahead of us again next year with the 4 10-week terms. Obviously, whatever happens during the 2-week breaks happens. And then that 4th term stretches out over 11 weeks as it did again this year. So, Trent Lavis is leading by 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Trent Lavis to Brenton Hobson. Chris Noble is third. John Merritt, Blake Fitz, and then Adam Lavis still fuel saving on his way through. Actually, that's a good point. Chapo's there in 7th, and he will be good on his fuel saving as well. Well picked up C. Whitaker. But yeah, they don't seem too worried about their pace at the moment. Ash Dodson it is there, actually. Speaking on behalf of the Send It Nation crew. Thank you, mate. Adam Johnson, Dale Sharp, both in retirement. James Frenco on the lap down. Trent Lavis leads by 10 1/4 seconds to Brenton Hobson. There is Chris Noble in 3rd under pressure from John Merritt. So you've got 2 Formula V champions going at it in the MX-5s at the moment, the battle for 3rd. Gavin Simpson unlucky. Now that's it. Now there's the other point. Right there is the other point. I reneged to mention it earlier. Dane Snadden's been to pit lane, came at the end of lap 7. Joe Baldwin at the end of lap 3. So those guys are in their fuel window. They've topped up. They've completed that little splash and dash component, that requirement. It's now just a matter of how late the rest of them leave it, or whether these guys are going to try and save it and stretch it to lap 15. If they can. There's 5.5 laps to go.
Yeah, so the interesting one there, I don't know if I should have jumped on Adam in the car, and as soon as I did, I noticed he was off throttle for a good 3 or 4 seconds all the way into that final braking zone. So there could be some sneaky fuel games at play, and dare I say the man behind him, Sam Chapman, has definitely picked up on that as well. So we could yet see a spicy podium.
Because if Lavis has to come in and do... Oi! John Merritt to the inside of Chris Noble back to 3rd. John Merritt with an iron down the inside. He's had it up with a toe from Chris Noble. He wants a toe from Brenton Hobson now. There we go. it's ironic that you Queenslanders are talking about winding the clock back. You wind it back about 112 years every summer, don't you? Good evening, Nick. Good evening, Chris. Thank you. Any opportunity I get, folks, I'll use that material all day long, all summer long. Now, here is Brendan Grosh getting it all crossed up and out of shape. Winding the clock way back. I love it.
Rugby boys really haven't had a good night at the trots today, have they, unfortunately? Poor Gavin Simpson. And he's doing a pirouette again.
That's Matt Schmidtke. So Matt Schmidtke, Simpson, Frank Cohn, they've all had moments tonight. Brendan Grosh parked up and out of business. His night's done. We're down to 12 in the race of champions. And we're watching John Merritt. Chris Noble's got back by him. Now Merritt will return serve once more. They're toing and throwing, but in the meantime, they're giving Hobson no reason to feel like he's coming under any sort of pressure. Merritt has bowled it wide. That's what's happened. Watch this. So there we go. So there, sorry, were we taking a replay or were we back live? We're back live.
We're back live now.
Yeah, we were taking a replay. My apologies. I thought that they were just returning serve. So Hot Lap and Noble 3 and 4. And now, yeah, Hobbo's still no reason to feel uncomfortable there. He's got 9 car lengths, 9/10 of a second on John Merritt. If Merritt can find a way to eke that out and trim that advantage, and well, deficit in his case, then maybe he can put some pressure on Hobbo. But the problem is they can't catch Trent Lavis. Has Trent got to come to pit lane or not? We believe he will have to. You can't be running at that pace like a scalded cat and not burn some fuel. 11 laps gone, 4 to go. Lavis leading at the end of 19.5 minutes. It's Hobson there in second, 12 seconds to the good is Trent Lavis. John Merritt, Chris Noble, Blake Fitzsam Chapman and Adam Lavis. So it'll be one of these 3 men. It'll be Lavis, Hobson or Noble lifting the title as the race champion this year. Joe Baldwin unfortunately down in 10th place. It's a case of what might have been. Caught up in that early incident. The curse of the preemptive comment from Parry Anastakis. And Trent Lavis. 13 seconds now to the good, so there's no fuel saving going on there, I wouldn't have thought.
No, not with Lobesy, but I have been keeping track of Hobbo's lap times, and I don't know if it's a real pace discrepancy. Dare I say not. I'm going to say that he's saving as well.
So maybe that was the trick. Get a lead, get a buffer, get clear of any potential garbage, and then save from there. There he is, left of shot. You just saw him going through. That's the advantage he enjoys at the moment. So this will be Trent Lavis joining the greats of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing car. But how appropriate is it, actually? It might not end up this way in terms of the overall point standings for the night. We know that John Merritt's a bit out of the picture. But how appropriate is it going to be that champions of the previous 2 editions of the ROC night on the platforms of the GSRC are going to follow Trent Lavis? Oh, he's in! Trent Lavis is in! So that answers that question. Lavis is in. Do Hobson and Merritt follow? We wait and see. Lavis is in. Hobbo and Merritt are going to continue on. Better in the works here. Trent Lavis to pit lane. 3 laps to go. Now we play the game. Oh boy. Here we go. He's not the only one. Matt Schmidtke in as well. Trent Lavis stationary. 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. 11, 12, 12.2 he's out. So have these boys done enough? Or is it Chapman and Lavis that you got to keep an eye on behind that? Are they saving enough juice? And they are 5 and 7 seconds down the road respectively. There is Chapman hovering over the back of Blake Fitz. Running one of the old school retro liveries from the Perth Mobile days. There's another notable absentee tonight. Chris Stark was a champion this season. He's nowhere to be seen. So, yeah, a small turnout for the race of champions, but a good night nevertheless. And how appropriate that 3 of the very best in the trade a 1, 2 and 3 on the racetrack towards the very end of the night. Will Trent Lavis's pit stop be the catalyst, or will it be the anomaly? Off goes Matt Schmidtke, but he gets back on. He's running 9th at the moment. Joe Baldwin still 10th. Still 10th, this trucker. But now Schmidtke's going to be under pressure from both Baldwin and Snadden on the run to the checkered flag. That battle for 9th continues. Francone's a lap down. Grosh, Sharp and Johnson out of the race, and John Merritt now dives to pit lane at the end of lap 13. Blake Fitz as well, so now it gets interesting. Chris Noble all of a sudden becomes a genuine chance here. It's Noble and Hobson for the next, it's Noble and Chapman. Noble saving and Chapman blasting up the outside. Sam Chapman from out of the clouds to second. Oh boy. So it's Hobson still leading. It's 5 seconds to Chapman. Noble's fallen out of it. As long as Hobson finishes there, he's the champ. Noble is second on the road to him at the moment. Lavis is third. So they're in championship order. So that won't change. They'll all leapfrog Trucker, if I'm doing the maths correctly. And Chapo and Merritt, who knows? Because, well, Chapo's second and Merritt's 6th. They're both ahead of Trucker. I don't think they do enough to reel him in, but there's a long way to go here. This is lap 14 of 15. Is Hobson coming to the lane this time by? Because if he is, I guarantee you that both Adam Lavis and Sam Chapman will be going for it. If they can get back to the white flag, they'll be going for it. The fuel save with no stops. Chris Noble is under pressure from Adam Lavis at the moment, and Trent Lavis is trying to get his way home to the checkered flag. He's reeling them in. He's only 10 seconds off Noble at the moment, but he's 20 seconds off Hobbo, and off goes Gavin Simpson once more, and there goes Adam Lavis down onto the inside of Chris Noble. Lavis to third. Holy cow.
So just running some quick numbers, I believe it's about a 34-second discrepancy having to enter pits.
Hobbo's going for it. Hobbo's going for it. Chapo's going for it. Lavis is going for it. Noble's going for it. It's win it or bid it or run and won and or bust. Oh boy. They will come to the white flag. They'll come to the checker on the smell of an oily rag. It's either win it or cough and splutter trying. Hobson's on his way home for Race of Champion victory number 2. That's what's at stake here. One of the immortals of this club, one of the great stalwarts of the Australian sim racing scene, and he's making waves behind the scenes as well. He's part of that instrumental group that have very quickly become the must-watch organisation in the sim racing community in this country. They've got the Logitech Invitational G Pro Supercar Series to the point of popularity that it has got to. They're about to make waves into the GT3 scope. He's part of all the wheeling and dealing going on behind the scenes in the organisational front. But he's very bloody handy on the racetrack as well. He's on the run home. Look at Chapman throwing everything at this, trying to reel him in. Noble under pressure from Lavis. Trent Lavis to 4th. Trent Lavis on the comeback trail to 4th. Unfortunately, it's that splash and dash that is going to cost him a chance at supremacy. Last turn, checkered flag, Race of Champions victory number 2 for Brenton Hobson. 2 out of 3 on the night, 2 out of 3 in total. Hobbo is the king of the GSRC once more. How about that? He's done it again. Chapman in for second, Adam Lavis third, Trent Lavis fourth. Chris Noble's going to come home in 5th. Oh no, Noble's out of juice. He's going to lose 5th to John Merritt. John Merritt comes home 5th. Chris Noble will try and cough and splutter his way to the line. He got there, just ahead of Blake Fitz. Joe Baldwin comes home in 8th. It's a case of what might have been for Trucker, Matt Schmidtke, Dane Snadden, Gavin Simpson, and James Francone. Oh boy. Then that's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. Hobo has title number 2. Skillfully done. Say whatever you like, Josh Suno, about the fuel save methodology and the gamesmanship and the racecraft required with that. I know that it has its fans, but it has just as many critics. It's been a contentious issue throughout the course of the season here. There's some people that absolutely detest the concept, but that was the point. That was the difference, the defining moment between winning and losing tonight.
But yeah, that's just the game, isn't it? This is what tonight's all about. Just throwing spinners. The guys are going to look at it, go crunch the numbers before they start, and you know that Hobbo would have had to have jumped in and done his first couple of laps, seen the numbers, and made a split decision. And that split decision is all it took for him to go, I'm not going to pit. There's going to be a 30 to 40 second discrepancy. If I only do 2 seconds a lap quicker, multiply that out by the race length, we're good. So yeah, absolutely brilliant show of skill, and yeah, unfortunate for Trent there. He kept his foot down and had to come in for a splash and dash, but he's still come home in 4th. And yeah, it just wasn't the strategy of the night, running hot.
And I'm just having a look at how the numbers play out here as well. Hobbo clear by the length of the straight. 18 points in the end, the margin there. I'm just waiting for the rest of the positions to be allocated for that race just now. But it looks as though we can start to pick it all apart for you. We've got Trent Lavis, Joe Baldwin, and Brenton Hobson standing by for a chat here post-race. The reality of the matter is that the numbers have been crunched. Nick's just punching in the last couple of positional finishes now. We only had 12 finishes in the end, so I'll just wait for those 2 boxes to be allocated. I don't think it's actually going to matter because neither one of those blokes, no disrespect to James Francone or Gavin Simpson, were actually in contention here. So what I can tell you is that Brenton Hobson will win the day on 168 points, 150 for Joe Baldwin, 149 for Trent Lavis, Chris Noble 146, 143 for Sam Chapman, 130 for John Merritt, 129 for Adam Lavis, and 105 for Matt Schmidtke. Actually, Brendan Grosh, 107, has just leapfrogged up there ahead of Matt Schmidtke. Well, he parked up at the start of lap 10, but technically, I don't know what the regularity, or the relegations, or the I'm not even making sense at the moment, boys. The
regulation.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the rule book says about that with regards to 75% race distance and so forth. So I don't think actually Brendan Grosh gets classified, to be fair. So that would actually mean Matt Schmidtke and Dane Snadden would jump up. But I'll let Nick adjudicate on that for you in just a few moments. As you can tell, folks, I'm a little bit under the weather tonight, so I apologise for all of that. It's the head cold, the man flu, as Mum's been calling it all day, just because apparently I've been a little bit difficult to deal with. Has got the better of me and my sentence structure on the grand final night of grand final nights. However, we have our champions of 2024 in the house, ladies and gentlemen. First, second, and third, and a respectable 5th for Chapo as well. And Parry and Astakis, yeah, don't gamble, kids, agreed. However, Trucker, I think you need to go and have words with our favourite Parry and Astakis, our favourite Greek, because at the end of the day, I don't know if you saw the comment before the race got underway, but he didn't have you in the top 3. He had you having a spin, and unfortunately, on the first lap, you proved him correct.
Yeah, he did. No, I think the nerves got to me, to be honest, going into that race with leading and whatever. I just cooked it in qualifying and got caught on the outside. I don't even know why, but the slightest touch I had with Matt Schmidtke, it almost rolled me over. Things stood right up on its left-hand side, and I sort of caught it and fumbled and got down and just trying to make sure I didn't have another contact. I touched the dirt and it wouldn't stop, and it backed the right rear into the fence and damaged it. So it was just, get as far up as I could. Yeah, I think was it Grosh? I think might have had an incident there on the last lap, which gave me enough positions when I got by Matt with a lap to go. It's kept me in third position. I probably would have dropped down to about fifth overall. I only got that one position, so. But it's what happens, It's that's racing, and to come in with these guys and to finish second overall with the calibers. I don't know if anybody else. I think Tony Baker might have wasn't expecting it, but I know I certainly wasn't. That was, that's pretty unbelievable for myself to think that I got there in second.
A great way to finish the season, though, mate. I mean, as we say, El Presidente in any guise, whoever it had been. I mean, you're not the first president of the club. You won't be the last, I'm sure. But in saying that, I think that's as far up as the president has ever finished on Race of Champions night. So that's a nice little feather in the cap.
Yeah, look, I locked away 2 championships, I think, over the course of the season. I finally got that long, elusive Mountain Men Championship early in the season. Then I had the good run in the Porsche Cup. So it's it's been a good year overall. And like I say, as far as the club goes, we got a great committee in there at the moment. And they're doing a fantastic job. They're making my job easy, to be honest. Guys like Josh and Adam, and the 2 Sams and the 2 Gregs, and and a great bunch of guys that race with us as well. Which get us in a position to be able to put on events like this and showcase what the club's about. And we have the interclubs with in the Australian Open Wheel Nationals, which Jackson took out again the other day, which was pretty cool. So with the SRW guys, but I think the sim landscape in general across Australia, with what Hobbo's doing with the Logitech stuff as well, like sim racing in Australia is just going from strength to strength, and it's just pretty cool to be a part of it, I guess.
It's very appropriate that you led me in the direction of what I was going to say next, and what I've already mentioned as well. Joe, well segued by you. Stay with me, mate. I want to come back to you at the end here. It's 7 minutes to 9 Eastern Daylight Time, 7 minutes to 6 on the West Coast, and of course 7 minutes to 11 in New Zealand. And of course, a big thanks from Nick Fodiatis there to everybody, all and sundry, and we'll mention all of them in more detail in a few moments' time. I just had the message come through that the old mate doesn't have a terrible amount of time on his hands tonight, because he's one of the busiest people in sim racing circles, as Joe just alluded to a moment ago, but he's also got to put the kids in bed. You must be looking forward to when they're actually on bloody school holidays, Hobbo.
Tell me about it, Zach. Tell me about it. Only a few days to go. I say that you think it's great, but then when they're on school holidays, they're around all day. So it's not all that great.
No. I know the feeling. I've got a 9-year-old, soon to be 9-year-old niece who will come and annoy the absolute hell out of me later in the week, and you'll get absolutely nothing done for about 6 weeks. It'll be fantastic. Mates, I want to come back to what Joe mentioned with you in just a few moments, but with regards to the ASRG stuff. But let's rip the Band-Aid off and acknowledge this for what it is. This is a second Race of Champions triumph for you. Once again, you step onto the throne as the king of the GSRC's Night of Nights, our Race of Champions, and not an easy task to do so. Let's start with the obvious elephant in the room here. What the bloody hell happened at the start of the feature race in the rallycross, please?
Well, I thought that had done me in, Zach. I thought for sure that would have taken me out of contention, so I'm a little bit surprised. But I don't know, just crept on the line, so jump start. I had the handbrake fully loaded and the brake fully loaded, but crept on the line, so black flag for jumping the start. So it's a shame, because I certainly made it hard for myself there by doing that. But like you said, did it the hard way. But obviously very, very pleased to be able to come out on top. But it goes without saying, though, that this is a really cool league, and it's it is a special thing, I guess, to be able to come and turn up here for the Race of Champions and be invited back, and come and have a crack at trying to win another one. And you know, I've really enjoyed my time that I've spent with the GSRC over the last few years, and it's cool to be able to put all the best drivers from the league together for a night and have a bit of fun. And ultimately, that's what it's about more than anything, is coming and enjoying ourselves and putting on a good show.
I'm not sure what's going out on broadcast at the moment, but I've got the feeling that my producer is actually trying to give me the wind up, because I'm seeing the thanks for watching screen come up already. In saying that, 3 V8 Triumphs, 1 Super 2, so there's 4 TCR, 2 Racer Champion stock cars. So if we're doing our numbers right, that's 8 championships already, etc. and so forth. I'm sure there's probably something that's been missed along the way, mate. But the notable absentee there is no GT3, no Porsche Open Cup or Elite Cup. The master of that, nowhere to be seen tonight. I can't wait for the Racer Champions year in which both you and Denchi line up on the grid.
It'd be good, wouldn't it? I was looking forward to having a race with him, actually, and it wasn't here, which is a shame, but yeah, I mean, you talk about people that are the class of the league. I mean, he's probably got about 50 championships at this point, so I think he's probably the one you'd look at if you're talking about an overall champion of this league. But one day we'll get together and go head-to-head and go fisticuffs at it. It'll be good fun, but, you know, take nothing away from the other guys that are here too, because everyone who's here tonight is here for a reason. And, you know, like it's not by accident that you've got everybody who turned up tonight here. So, you know, it's the best in the league for everybody. Just because, you know, myself or Denchi have won multiple championships, that doesn't matter. Like, you know, all these guys have won championships, so you know, it's good.
That Mazda MX-5 of yours was looking a little bit naked tonight, Hobo. It didn't have the signature Synergy blue.
No, well, I haven't driven the MX-5 in quite a long time, and there was a period...
Lavis was saying the same thing. We're going to get back to that. Keep going.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know what paint was on it, to be perfectly honest, but there was a time a while back where I was racing a league in this car, and we had a few cars for SSR in the field, so we sort of all mixed it up and went with a different colour. So I've got the white on tonight. It was also a bit naked in the fuel tank for a lot of that race as well.
That brings me to my next point. How close were you to coughing and spluttering? I know Chris Noble did it on the approach to the line. What about you?
Yeah, I was out on the way to the line. I thought I might have been a little bit better than that, but I was nervous about when it would start to cough. I didn't know how much it would have left in the tank when it did so, but you know, I think I had about a quarter of a lap left at the line, it was telling me, but of course a quarter of a lap in these cars is like a couple 100 mil, and once you get that low, it does start coughing, which I was conscious of. So the last couple of laps we just rolled the clutch in and saved a bit more than I thought I needed to, and lucky I did in the end, because I needed it to get to the line. So it was very tight. It was very tight. I didn't know what the delta would be for the pit cycle, for pitting, but I had it in my mind that if I could make it, it would be the faster way to do it. So I decided on the start line to have a crack at it. I only just figured out that it was a 15-lap race and I could do 13 laps on fuel about 30 seconds before the green flag went out. So it was a late decision, but I think the right one. Well, obviously the right one in the end.
Yeah. And this is the thing, we're discussing this during the race. We know that Adam Lavis, Sam Chapman, and Brenton Hobson, when it comes to being able to eke a little bit more out of the fuel tank, you were the first 3 we looked at. So it's nice that you were able to clarify for us just how early in the piece you were working out the possibility, the feasibility of running long. So therefore you weren't terribly worried when Lavis was 10, 11, 12, 13 seconds up the road?
Well, like I said, I didn't know what the delta was, so I wasn't sure where he'd come out. I felt like it would be maybe closer than it was, to be honest. I thought I might end up near him at the end, but either way, I was convinced that the fuel save would be the quickest way for me to do it. To be honest, if we went head-to-head and full speed the whole way, Trent probably would have had me, because I think he's a little bit better in the MX-5 than me. So credit to him. He drove the wheels off it. It was fast, and you know, if it was a straight-up sprint between us, I actually think he would have got the job done. So credit to him. It was a great drive. Just, I guess, unlucky that the strategy didn't go his way. But yeah, I was nervous about that, but in the end, it worked out in my favour.
Hobbo, with regards to what you're saying there, we know, and I said it as you came into the booth, the fuel save and the strategy and the gamesmanship and the racecraft around that or associated with it is always a contentious talking point. I know that it's been controversial in Porsche Cup races throughout the course of the year, and maybe GT3 as well. Do you like that element, that ingredient of uncertainty, and the way in which it forces you to think on the go?
I love anything that adds strategy to the game. I mean, it's all well and good to be fast and go and win a race because you're quick. That's cool, but no, I'm a big advocate for what the rain's doing, because it's the same thing. You just get a much more varied strategy. Like, you know, you can have all different stuff happening, and it's a lot less black and white. And fuel mileage, if that's what you're talking about, it is contentious. I think, like, some people hate fuel saving, like they just hate it and won't do it, just almost out of sheer protest. Some people perhaps can't do it, but I mean, it's very much a disciplinary type thing. You have to be very, very disciplined to fuel save, and that's something that I've always been able to do, and I guess it's just been a part of my repertoire. You know, you said already that that's something that I'm known for. I mean, I've done it plenty of times, but it is, I think it's a skill in your book that, you know, some people have, and it's no different to any other skill, like just being rapid, you know, like some people are just better drivers than others, and that's a skill in itself. But the strategy element to it, the discipline required, the fuel save and things like that, I just think that stuff's really good. It adds something to the mix that, you know, you guys would have been looking at it all race not knowing what would happen, you know, and it adds something different, and I'm all for it. But of course, I'm someone who can do it, so of course I'm probably biased. But no, I think it's good. Anything that adds a bit of strategy and twist to it and changes up the story is good.
And the other thing as well, before we move on to other things and 2025, and again, I don't want to hold you too long because I know that you've got to go and attend to dad duties among other things in a moment. But you look at the strategy play with regards to tonight, the MX-5s, and the way in which tonight's gone out or played out. One thing that you got right was that the rallycross car was coming up, but you weren't 100% right with the venue in which you'd be running that at. Was it a nice surprise when it was Oran Park?
It did throw me for a loop. I definitely didn't expect that. All that being said, though, like I said, it's the same for everybody, so you get what you get. I was quite comfortable with the rallycross cars at Oran Park. I thought they were a good combination. Obviously, I sort of screwed up, but other than that, I felt fast and confident and comfortable, and I thought it was a great combination. So no, that was fine, and we talked about it earlier when I jumped in here. The adaptability and versatility are, I already said fuel saving is a part of my repertoire, but those are also things that I feel like I'm quite good at. So, and another one who stands out to me for that is definitely Trent. Very adaptable driver. So, you know, we were always going to be able to jump in whatever it was and probably get the hang of it fairly quickly. And you know, that was always the whole thing for tonight. We didn't know what we were going to be doing, and that's what made it fun.
And yes, probably somewhat lucky that there was a 6-7 car pile-up at Oran Park as well that rubbed a couple of contenders out. Hobbo, that probably brought you a little bit of time and a few more points that you otherwise might not have had. Joe mentioned it a few moments ago that you are one of the prominent, you know, people in sim racing circles in this country, and I know that we don't normally talk about it a hell of a lot on here or cross promote, but I think we're allowed to now, considering that I'm on board with you guys for your new offering next season. Talk to me about how much you've enjoyed not just being prominent on track as well, but also working behind the scenes to enhance the Australian sim racing motorsport scene the way that you and the ASRG boys have had, not just obviously getting the Logitech Supercar Series to where it is as the prominent, the go-to supercar series in this country right now, but also the way in which you're going to set the ground on fire with the launch of the GT3 Series next year too.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, we don't, not to take anything away from what's happening here with the GSRC and this league, because this league has its place, and I love this sort of community that we've got here. But the ASRG was always, from the ground up, designed to be the pinnacle of what happens in Australian sim racing. That was sort of the brief at the start. But I'm also a big believer of, you know, like a rising tide lifts all boats. So for that series to go and create that pinnacle, you know, across the community for people in this part of the world, it elevates the competition elsewhere as well. So it actually has a positive effect here back in this league and vice versa. And this becomes, you know, like a place for people to refine their craft and head over there and compete as well. So like it works both ways, and I think that's always been part of the vision for us, is never to come out and create something to squash all others. Like, it was always about creating a place to help the wider community in general. But for me, it's probably a passion project. It's something I've always wanted to probably be involved with, and I know that I've got a very specific skill set that enables me to be able to do something with those leagues above and beyond what we've seen anywhere else. Like, obviously all the marketing and promotional stuff that happens with that is a big point of difference for that league, and that's, you know, largely what I'm involved with. And it's cool for me to be able to go, and it's rewarding for me to be able to go and invest my time and effort and energy into something and then see it succeed, which is what's happened. And, you know, I really enjoy things like being able to come and say to you, can you come and work with us, because it gives you an opportunity, and it's cool to work with different people. And, you know, you're not the only one. There's, as you know, quite a few people involved with that stuff to make all those things happen. Lots of stuff that happens behind the scenes and a big group of people, and it's a cool opportunity for everybody to come and do it. So yeah, it is a passion project, and I've really enjoyed my time with it.
And I took great joy in saying on socials the other day that looking forward to 2025 and working on that new GT3 offering with you guys. That is going to be the cherry on top of what's going to be a very busy year for me, and one that I wasn't necessarily expecting until you slid into the inbox a couple of weeks ago, and it was very much appreciated when you did, mate. Looking forward to that. Well done to you. And all the crew over there. I think if the early hype and the early chatter that I'm seeing and hearing and whatever else, Hobbo, is anything to go by, you're going to have about 240 cars and 480 drivers competing for about 60 spots on the grid for that GT3 series. So it's going to be gangbusters next year. We wish you guys very much the best of luck with that, and of course we'll still have our Monday night offering as well. And I think it's a wonderful thing that some of the guys from our platforms here at the GSRC, they cross-pollinate, so they're part of your community, they're part of our club as well, and they're eyeing off a spot on the grid there as well next year. I know Chapo's looking forward to pre-qualifying already. On the way out, mate, I know you're short for time. Anyone else you want to thank?
Well, I mean, I want to thank everybody first and foremost involved with the league, just from the ground up. You know, I'm no stranger to this stuff. I know how much effort, time and energy goes into all this stuff and putting on events, and, you know, the GSRC has multiple events every week, and it's not easy. So all the committee and everybody involved, you know, it's a big effort, and a huge thanks to all those guys that just put together the league in general. But particularly tonight, it was cool to be able to come and have a go and get out on track with a few people and have some fun. So big thanks to everybody involved for making it happen. Obviously the sponsors that are attached to the league as well, and you know, you guys here in the box, because you put together a product for everyone to enjoy, and, you know, be able to go back and have a look and enjoy it as well. So thanks to you guys in here producing and commentating and all the rest of it. And I guess lastly as well, all the drivers out there on track tonight. It was good fun, good hard clean racing, and I had a great time.
Congratulations, mate. A two-time champion, second in 3 years. Of course, John Merritt in the middle. Again, just cementing your status as one of the great stalwarts of our club. And we wish you all the best for Christmas, the new year, and I'm sure, I know we'll be catching up in March, but I'm sure we'll catch up before then as well, mate. Go well, enjoy spectating at the Speedway as well, because I know that's something you love to do during the summer months.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully be back on the grid, see all you guys in the new year.
I wouldn't be surprised at all, ladies and gentlemen, if this bloke makes an appearance with the new Gen 3 supercar offering coming to the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club in the early stages of 2025. Just depends what night of the week, doesn't it, Robert?
Yeah, let's not make it on a night that's going to clash for me, and I'll be here.
And there's the alarm bells and the messages sent to everybody that's eyeing off that series, that one of the best of the producers is going to be coming in firing on all cylinders and ready to give it a crack. Good on you, mate. Congratulations again. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Congrats, Hobbo.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, magnificent. One of the great stalwarts of not just this place, but as Joe and I have alluded to already, making waves in the sim racing community at large right around Australia, of course. I should also, I mentioned, you know, thanks to the ASRG crew for helping set me up with some new broadcast equipment for next season, but I should also say a big thanks to our crew here at the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club for their blessing back in August to go and do a couple of events with those guys, which meant that it was a very easy yes when they offered me a little bit more for next season. We'll have Nick Fodiatis with us soon, I'm sure, but let me go to Trent Lavis and Sam Chapman and then back to Joe Baldwin in the meantime. Trent, oh, so close.
Oh, not really.
Well,
in the end, anyway.
Well, when you were taking off like a scalded cat, the first question I was asking is he going to be able to do this without splashing and dashing? My gut instinct was no, but then my second thought was, is he going to be able to build enough of a buffer to get out in front? Knowing full well that with what happened to Joe in the early stages, it was essentially going to be a case of winner takes all between you, Noble and Hobbo.
Yeah, I was sort of looking forward to a proper door-to-door race, unfortunately. But it's just a shame that the race is just a fraction too short for the sprint option to be a feasible option. The fuel save is always going to be the fastest way to do it, but I enjoy driving, so I decided to put the hammer down and have a bit of fun.
So, hang on. So you enjoy driving fast? I think just to finish that sentence, Trent. Yeah.
Well, I hadn't driven the MX-5 for a long time, so it was always good to, you know, throw the thing around and put on a bit of a show. And I was actually looking forward to like a proper door-to-door race as well. So it was a bit of a shame that it sort of got
Isn't it
watered down a little bit, I suppose.
Isn't it funny, however, that both you and Hobbo said the same thing? Geez, we haven't driven the MX-5 in a long while, but he was on pole by half a second, and you set the pace during the race. So, I mean, again, it's that old instinct that those knee jerks, you know, putting the old pair of shoes back on, putting the old pair of jeans back on. It's the comfy fit you take like a duck to water to the MX-5. Again, a tip of the hat to, as Hobbo said earlier, your adaptability and adaptability and versatility. I tried to combine two words into one there. As a race car driver, Trent.
Yeah, it's a part of the fun. You probably missed my half dozen spins on the practice session, but
yes,
yeah.
We were off there at the time.
Yeah, I had to. You got to learn the hard way, right, to find the limits by finding them, and I found all of them. So a little bit shaky going into qualifying, but just sort of, you know, backed it off a little bit and got a good lap in at the end. Actually, I ended up getting off track on my first lap of Quali, so the pressure was on to put a lap in, so I couldn't go crazy on that one.
Indeed. Talk to me about the charge back through the field, mate. The fact that you were able to climb over the top of a few guys that went along the same strategy line as you did, but then also reel in the likes of Chris Noble, who was limping to the line, chug-a-lugging, coughing and spluttering.
Yeah, I don't think I passed too many guys. I think we sort of hopscotched each other in the pits with the strategy. So it was basically started the race with Hobbo, and then Chris was the only other bloke I saw most of the race, I think.
1 point is all that separated second and third. Second in teammate Joe Baldwin, and I guess at the end of the night, Trent, to be within the top three on a night like this where it is the cream of the crop of the club, does that fuel the fire to come back and give it another crack next year?
Yeah, I'll have to find some time to actually do some more championship stuff to be able to, you know, get back into the fold. But absolutely, I love this format. This is my jam. As you know, and Joe did a cracking job in those first couple of heats. The cars and track combos are really well done, and I just got no luck, mate. You make your own luck, I know, but it's just, yeah, I tend to find the bad luck lately. I've had a bit of a bad run, but all fun and good at the end of the day, anyway.
The difference was the 8th in the feature of the dirt mini stock in race 1, or part 1 of the night at Lenia. I think you'll find when you look back at the points table at the end of the night, mate. What's next for Trent Lavis across the course of the off-season, please?
A whole heap of bugger all. A lot of lawn mowing and drinking some spicy colas, mate. That's my plan. I don't know about yourselves, but
Nice recovery, nice save. Yep, very good. Well done. We've got to remember it is only 6:15 on the West Coast. We've got to behave ourselves. We're going to the West Coast in a moment. But skid control stuff, that's been pretty busy to see the year out, hasn't it?
Yeah. There's this weekend there's 4 different events on over this weekend, and I think there's a couple more next weekend, even leading right up to Christmas. And we're back into it early January. So if anyone in South East Queensland wants to learn a bit of car control in real cars and have a bit of fun with us, buddy, jump on the website and have a squeeze. There's plenty to go on. Rally, carnicross, skid pen, drifting. Got the compound out west for rally driving. Like, there's a lot of opportunity out there to drive cars, and no excuse to get out and have a bit of fun.
Exactly right. New content dropped earlier in the week. Have you, like the rest of the Australian sim racing community, had a crack in the Gen 3 cars yet?
No, I literally turned the computer on this morning and found out I had 56 gigabytes of updates. So I kind of didn't. While I was mowing the lawn, the computer was sitting here trying to burn a hole through the floor. So yeah, lucky I picked that up earlier on today to make sure I got in there a bit of fun.
56 gig, geez, one hell of an update. No doubt about that. Now, 2025, how does it look from a real-world racing standpoint for you, please?
A little bit up in the air at the moment. Obviously, circumstances are a bit funny for me at the moment in the real life stuff, but yeah, needed to work out a plan, I suppose, moving forward to be able to budget and that sort of stuff. So everything's still a little bit up in the air. Just been enjoying driving the S15 around on the street, actually. Just cruising around. Got caught in the rain yesterday. Not a good time, but still nice fun to get out there and have a bit of a drive, irrespective. But I'll probably end up doing the usual hill climbs and sprints.
Yep.
But I don't know what's happening with the QPC stuff this year. I think Nick's going to do a break, focusing on the 6 hour. So he's in for the 6 hour. So looking forward to watching him go well there. And yeah, see what comes up throughout the year.
4x GT4 titles, a Formula V and a Pro 2 to go along with that as well. Trent, no doubt, as long as there's some time in the diary, plenty of fire in the belly to try and add to the mantelpiece in 2025.
Yeah, there's still plenty of black on the back of my sim seat to fill in, so I'll have to jump on hopefully at least one night a week and have a bit of a dip and see how we go. And
of course, no further contributions from Chris Whitaker to the prize pot tonight, because when you're that far out in front, it's a little bit too difficult for people to be able to door you.
Yeah, that's right. Oh dear. He said he was trying to message me, hit me the brakes, saying, "Oh, you got to get him back so I can take the cart back off him."
that does not surprise me in slightest. Actually, on that subject, if he's still watching, he still owes me a quote, and he'll know what I mean by that. But stick around post-race, Trent. I'll fill you in. Now, congratulations. Great result tonight. Third in the Race of Champions by one solitary point to our good mate Joe Baldwin. Go well for the off-season. I know that as far as 1912 into 1913 celebrations are concerned, those that are going to wind the clock into 2025, an hour after the progressive and civilised parts of the eastern seaboard, I know that your place is going to be the place to be. I'm sorry I can't be there.
That's all right, mate. Well, there'll be plenty of footage, I'm sure, that we can share around.
Plenty of opportunities to come and have a spicy collar or two with you next year, and I look forward to doing so, mate. All the best for the new year.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
And of course, the festive season as well. There he is, Trent Lavis. Can you believe we're only 10 days away from Christmas? Jesus. Sam Chapman, to you. Not a bad run. Again, the fuel save serves you well. They're taking the skill set from GT4, applying it to the Mazda MX-5. Were you a bit like Hobbo in the sense that you haven't driven this car in a while, or have you had recent experience?
Oh, I've probably had a bit more recent experience than Hobbo. It's would have done it. Oh, actually, I think I jumped in around that Oran Park South. I jumped in the other night because it was one of those week 13 races. So fortunately, I had done a few laps recently, but yeah, I mean, didn't have a huge amount of pace. It's not the track I know super well. It was okay, but you know, I don't think I would have been able to trace down Trent on pace, but you know, maths won out, and I thought I might take it at the end, but of course there is Brenton Hobson. We've got a better counterpart at this, who managed just to hold on there. He was losing a lot of time in that final lap. I was wondering whether he'd choke, but no, he knows better than that. So yeah, good. It's just, you know, you look at that, you put in round 2 and coming second in round 3. It's a real what could have been of if I didn't get caught up in stuff on the dirt oval situation. Should have sort of realistically been at least second, but no, I mean, Hobbo ended up taking it by quite a margin despite his troubles race 2, so congrats to him.
All right, mate. Hey, talk to me. I mean, look at your CV there. 2 introductory Formula Championships, 1 prod cars, a social series as well. It'd be nice one day to add a Race of Champions triumph to that, but it was always going to be a difficult task tonight when the likes of Hobbo wheel in.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, it was always going to be a difficult task. You know, these guys have been. You look at the guys up the top, and they've been in the sim for a long time, and they've been doing this for a long time, and across some different disciplines. So I'm very happy with that performance, particularly round 2 and round 3, all things considered, because that's pretty fine company to be in. A bit closer to my mic. Yeah, I'll try it. Sorry.
Yeah, just swallow the thing.
Yeah, okay. I'm free holding the mic at the moment. It's been sitting in a cardboard box used for coat hangers that's also holding up my second screen. So it's we're still in a bit of a bodge setup at the moment, but hopefully that sounds a little bit better for you. But yeah, like it was always going to be very difficult company. I mean, that, you know, you get a little bit of hope out of it when he had that difficulty in round 2. But yeah, once he hopped in this, and he's got both the pace and the strategy down pat, and it was a difficult task. So, but yeah, it was you know, it was the same thing for me as it was for him of jumping in and sort of having a look at it. You know, as we gritted up of. We've got, you know, 13 laps of fuel. It was a 15-lap race. I didn't know really the pit lane distance either, but it seemed unlikely that, it wouldn't be the top strategy in the end. So, you know, it is, you know, that's my view. My view is it's just a skill set in the repertoire, and, you know, we've seen many races from pro to amateur won that way, across all sorts of different cars, and I think it's a good test of how people do this on the run. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. Would have been good to get him, but yeah, we'll take it.
Indeed we will. Hey, talk me through your plans for the off-season. Now that you've moved over to the City of Churches, now that you're settled in, the priority was to get the sim rig set up so that you could be out on the track on Wednesday night. What else happens between now and the start of the new GSRC season?
Oh, good question. I've got to have a few Baroccas. It was saw my mates for a long time, first time in a long time yesterday. So it's been a bit of a tough day peeling myself out of bed for this and another championship that I was racing into. So bit of recovery. We've got a week of work, and and we'll chill out. I'll do some practice. I've tried the Gen 3s. I like them more than the Gen 2s, which I hated. So potentially give those a crack, but yeah, and see what, you know, I'll probably try and give both those series that Hobbo's involved with a bit of a crack next year, see if I can qualify into them, and that will sort of form my GSRC commitment. Also, I was planning on playing footy, and the training is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I suspect all my favourite series are going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so we could have a bit of an issue here, but we'll work it out. I might have to choose one night for gents and one night for footy training.
That's it. Best of both worlds that way. I know what you mean, though. Trying to juggle the schedule for 2025, we're all getting busier. There's no two ways about that. Hey, the other thing as well, mate, from a club standpoint, because obviously Trucker's here to put a full stop on it as well for me, and Josh can too. From a club standpoint, it just continues to go from strength to strength. Yeah, the turnout tonight wasn't, what we would have liked it to be, but still 3 very good races to end what's been a very long yet successful year.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like it's also quality over quantity to a certain extent. You've got some really quality guys out there, so it was always going to make a great spectacle. I heard Dan, raving around the rallycross, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was actually really great. I was intrigued to see what it'd be like on a road course, but the way that those operate, and you take a bit of grass here and there to try and rotate you, and you can cut corners in a bit of a different way, made for a really interesting racing style. So, but yeah, the club has gone from strength to strength. I think it was the third iteration of this third season this year, where it really just kicked off, and those. I just look back at those, GT4 fields and those Porsche fields and the GT3 and all that have just been unbelievable this season, stacked with talent. Largely people are, they've understood the, I guess, ethos of the club, and how we want to race and how we want to be a part of it. It's hard but fair, and you want to be mates afterwards. So. And largely that's how it's been. So it's been really good to see. It's a great, Josh and Joe, in particular, obviously do a great job in, managing all the stuff behind the scenes, along with obviously Nick Fodiatis doing this stuff tonight. Adam Lavis doing, all the bits in between everything behind the scenes. Everything else, the place doesn't run without him, right? There was no chance. So it's very positive. From the treasury side, we've got more and more people wanting to get involved with the club from a sponsorship perspective, just because of the spectacle we're putting on, and what you Zach, are putting out there as well from a commentary perspective, and the broadcasters are putting together too. So yeah, it's really exciting. I think we're going to have a great 2025, go from strength to strength, and looking forward to it.
Indeed, mate. Hey, well done tonight. Well done on the fuel save. Nice way to end the night after a frustrating start on the speedway. But all the best for Christmas and the New Year. And of course, as we said there, when we have a look at the final points table, 5th place in all of that, 25 points off Hobbo, and I'm pretty sure that was about the deficit you had going into the race. So no harm, no foul in all of that. Well done. Looking forward to catching up with you in the new year, and all the best with the unpacking and everything else that comes with that move over to the City of Churches, mate. Go well.
Absolutely, thank you.
And from Chapo to Joe, Trucker, second to Hobbo is nothing to turn your nose up at. And to hold off Trent by a point, yeah, sure, the third leg didn't go anywhere near according to plan, mate, but a great night out and a nice way to finish the season.
Oh, look, I'm ecstatic. More so for the club, like Chapo and Trent and Brent have said. I'm just immensely proud where the club as a whole is at the moment. Thanks to your input and on the commentary side of things, Daniel Benefield. Oh God, I'm gonna forget names because I'm hopeless. Obviously Josh, Sam, Adam, broadcasting side. There's been cameos through the years. The year. Liam Banks is another name.
Yep.
I'm terrible with names at the best of times, but there's so many guys here that keep this well-oiled machine going, and there's people out there that love to throw chips, but they don't throw they don't throw weight behind helping support what we do. Some people like to just sit on the sidelines and have a chip, but we do what we can to make them guys happy as well. So it's it's all give and take. We don't mind giving, yet we like to get in and have a bit of a race as well and a bit of fun, and thankfully tonight sort of worked out pretty well for me. So I did actually send Adam a message before. I think it might have just it's all right. No, I'll find out the information after the broadcast. Yeah, I was just wondering where, if I had to finish fifth in that race and not stood on lap one, whether or not that would have got me the overall points. But look, it is what it is. I made the mistake and touched the dirt, and it is what it is. But still pretty proud to end up where I did. But yeah, look, I don't know. It's where do we go from here? Next season, we've got Gen 3 coming. We've got a couple of other cars there that we're looking to introduce to the club, in some form or another. I'll say Saturday night, Mountain Men is going to still be here, but there is going to be a slight change. Once every few weeks, we might throw something a little bit out of the ordinary in the box just to keep things fresh for everybody. And it's pretty clear we've got a no wrecking policy within the club. We might give the guys a bit of a chance to actually go out and have a little bit of fun and relax those rules on the odd occasion. So little fun things we might bring to the club next season, just to try and lighten the mood for everybody. Just make it fun. And
the odd destruction derby, I'm okay with that.
That's right. Just get in.
Throw them on an oval.
Everybody can have a bit of fun and get a bit of stress out. What was that, Trent?
It's right up my alley. I tend to get run into a lot, so I'll be I'll be human pinata and real life.
So we'll make the most of that. But a lot of great things coming out this year. Like we had the podcast that we started. I'll try and get in with Nick, and we'll have a follow up with this one. I might even try and drag Brenton in, considering he has won another ROC. If we can get him in for an interview and have a bit of a chat, and that'll probably round out the podcast for the season. We'll see whether or not it comes back next season. But so there's been some great things coming out this year. We've got an awesome team behind us at the moment. Not only broadcast, probably the RC team, the guys that have hung around and done a job have done a great job, but we probably need a few members. So if anybody out there does want to actually get in and help the club, by all means, put the word out. I've actually got one guy there I need to follow up who wants to join the RC team, which is great. And the committee guys, I just can't thank all of them enough. There's the two Gregs, the two Sams, Adam, like I say, I'm bad with names, Josh, there's a whole swage of guys there that they know who they are. I'm bad with names and I should have a list in front of me, but
I think that's on your to-do list for the new year, Joe. Just have a couple of post-it slips next to the desk.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing, right? I always tend to fumble for trying to remember names. But it's been a great year for the club. A couple of AOMM championships with for Sam and I think it was Jackson the other night. So
that was incredible.
Yeah, it was. I caught the last couple of laps on the broadcast the other night before I went to bed. So massive shout out to them guys, and I don't really know how to finish it out. Been a fantastic year and a great event tonight. So congratulations to everybody involved.
And congratulations to you as well, mate. There are the final point standings on your screen, folks. Brenton Hobson, a second Race of Champions triumph. Joe Baldwin, second. Trent Lavis, third. Chris Noble, Sam Chapman, John Merritt, Adam Lavis, and Brendan Grosh making up the top 8. Josh Suno, anything that you want to add to what Joe and Chapo have already alluded to? Yeah. Indeed. I'll wrap things up in a moment, but of course we couldn't do any of this without the great ongoing, valued, continued support of the likes of, as you can see on your screen there, Sprayton Cider, Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Bowen's the Builder's Choice, JJZ Constructions, merch.tgsrci.com, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. Normally, at this part of the broadcast, this is where I'd say, let's have a look at what's coming your way. But the truth is, there's nothing coming your way for the course of the next 5 weeks or so. 36 sleeps until we reconvene for night 1, term 1 of week 1 of 2025. January 20, mark that calendar date in your diaries, ladies and gentlemen. That is when the new term gets underway, the new year gets underway. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and what a season it promises to be. As Joe said, there'll be a supercar offering in prime time with the new Gen 3 series taking centre stage at the expense of the Gen 2 cars. There'll be a new manufacturer on the grid in GT3. There's a new circuit to play on with the Thruxton circuit in England having just dropped on the servers last week. So there's a lot to be excited about there going forward on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Look, I can't really top what the blokes have already said with regards to who to thank and who to acknowledge. The sponsors, Race Control, our stewards, our committee team, sometimes a thankless job, but they do a great job, and they do it all week, all year, all month, etc. and so forth. It's a 24/7 gig for those guys, juggling on top of their existing real-world commitments, and of course juggling it with their desire to get out there and actually be in the thick of the action as well. My colleagues here in Central Commentary have been brilliant throughout the course of the season. The emergence of Daniel Benefield, we've had Liam Banks as a mainstay, Chapo, Josh, of course, Grant Gill, I think, came in for a cameo at one point this year. It was great to catch up with Gilly. We've had Joe and Nick. We've had Adam Lavis, the mainstay, Josh, Daniel Criasar, yeah, without any of those guys putting their hand up, the broadcasts don't happen in the enormity and in the quantity that they do throughout the course of the season. There's been a couple of 5-night weeks. There's been a couple of 4-night weeks. It's a 6-night. I think we had 1 week when we were on air 6 days out of the 7. Great that we've been able to establish that relationship. And I know Josh was integral in that with the boys over at SRW to get that Open Wheel Nationals going. Super Formula Lights, I think, are here to stay as a formula that we've enjoyed getting around in terms of a race season offering, and of course as the Race of Champions car. I can't wait to see what 2025 has in store for us. From all of us to all of you out there at home tuning in, I wish I was in better nick than what I currently am for the final sign-off of the season, but maybe that's a fair indication of how worn out and how tired and how drained physically, mentally, emotionally we are. Exhausted is the word I'm looking for from what's been an enormous year, because it started 47 weeks ago. It started on the 22nd of January. 4 10-week terms. Sure, there were a couple of 2-week breaks in between, but this is week 11 of that 4th term. So it has been an enormous year, a huge offering, and a great amount of input from so many people to make it happen. And the reality is it continues to go from strength to strength, and it just gets better and better and better. We've seen some of the greatest racing we've ever seen on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club this year, and we've been doing it now for 5 years. We started in the April, the Easter of COVID, 2020. Wrap up that calendar year and 4 more on top of that. Next term marks season 20 for the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. A milestone in every sense of the word. It'll be our 6th year, and it promises to be one of the best ones yet. Race formats come and go, categories come and go, but our mainstays will be in action. Week 1, term 1, 2025. From all of us to all of you, We thank you for tuning in each and every week as you do. We thank you for your ongoing support. If you want to support the club over the off-season, jump on and buy a bit of merch from the merch store, merch.tgsrci.com or gsrcmerch.myshopify.com. Takes you to the same place, folks. Takes you to the same place. And of course, as we said up the top there, if you want to get involved in the club, want to join in the fun and the fair of what we do, race.tgsrci.com, and it's magnificent. There's been some interest in that throughout the course of the last couple of weeks of the calendar year. I think that'll do us. Around the grounds to finish off. Australia finished at 7 for 405. India have an enormous task ahead of them after electing to bowl first, I might add, after hundreds for Travis Head and Steve Smith today, if they're to track that down. And of course, we've only got 3 days left because we lost most of yesterday to rain, so any chance of a full result, yeah, slipping away actually, quite frankly. There's more rain in the forecast, unfortunately, for the soaked, sodden and saturated state of Queensland. So pay attention to that because it might be the difference between a result and a draw. Also as well, folks, the Perth Scorchers are currently chasing 147. 9 for 146 for the Melbourne Stars. The Scorchers are 3 for 51 in response to that. 6.3 overs gone. That continues on 7 once we're done here. On behalf of the broadcast, commentary and production team throughout the course of the season, as I say, many hands make light work. Adam Lavis at the forefront of broadcast and production here. His deputies are Daniel Criasar, Josh Zuno, Sam Chapman, Joe Baldwin. As I said, I think Grant Gill's been in there for a cameo as well. In the commentary box standpoint, it's Liam Banks, Daniel Criasar and I that have greatly enjoyed bringing you all the action throughout the course of the season, not just marvelling in the Denchi heroics and brilliance and the milestones and the achievements that he's racked up along the way, the marvellous achievements that he has he has been able to achieve throughout the course of the season. I mean, 12 GT3 championships on the trot now. To go with, and I apologise because the nose has started to run like a tap as we're trying to wrap up here, but also 10 Porsche GT3 Cup trophies along the way to his name. So we haven't just marvelled in his brilliance as a performer, but it's also been the emergence of the likes of Sam Muir, Sam Chapman in GT4. That's been a great duel all year long. I mean, there's stars emerging in supercars, Aidan Luthwaite in open wheelers and downforce legends, Chris Noble as well, plus the mainstays like the John Merritts, like the Trent Lavises, and the Racer Champion winner for the second time, Brenton Hobson. So it's not just Denchi leading the way, but it's everything else that's happening around him as well. He's still the benchmark of the club, but Hobbo's the king, having claimed his second Racer Champions triumph. We sincerely hope that you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Our last night of school for 2024 on the platforms of the GSRC. A rare treat to bring you Sunday night motorsport, and until we see you on the 20th of January 2025 for night one of week one of term one, we say a very Merry Christmas to you, a safe and happy New Year, and we look forward to your company when we go around for the 20th season on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. On behalf of Josh Zuno and the team, I'm Zach Caden. We'll see you then. Bye for now.